Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. Let's get to the bottom of the whole, alchemical disintegration case. Whatever the fuck's going on.
But how can we get to the bottom of the vat without getting disintegrated?
Like in Tyrion Cuthbert, see
Well,
my kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
The construct certainly managed it to a certain degree, so, I guess we'll figure that out later. Smiles. Anyways.
Whenever he says smiles.
Yeah, don't trust him anytime he says smiles.
I say that, but I also don't actually know what's going on with this game. I just have theories.
Still don't trust that word.
I just
For
have
somebody
theories.
that doesn't know what's going on in this game, you have a very good job predicting what is going on in this game.
Listen, I don't know either. I've just played Ace Attorney games.
Yeah. Anyway, Sai, this is your line, I believe. Am I correct?
Can I please swallow my food?
No,
That's not for me to decide, Sai.
spit it out.
I do not control...
It's too late. I have swallowed it. Okay.
I do not
Gonna
control
give
the speed at which Sai swallows.
Clip that! The soundboard.
I thought about saying it,
I'm here too,
paused, went with it anyways. I went, you know what? Fuck it.
So, this is Von Sanctus's house.
It'd be more appropriate to call this building a palace rather than a house.
Ugh, what's that smell?
As you head further into the manor, you're hit with a very pungent and sour odor. It almost burns the interior of your nostrils every time you inhale.
Well, we're here.
You look around the manor and don't see anybody nearby. Pokemon, I believe this was you.
Pokemon. That was you. Pokemon.
Pokemon, are
Pokemon.
you here?
Pokemon.
I'm
Pokemon.
trying to clip it.
Oh. Alright, in the... Mid, for the time being, I guess.
Muted!
Cool! Can't win today!
I'm back. I clipped it.
Okay, great.
It looks like Lord Saint isn't home at the moment. Perhaps we should try looking somewhere else.
Cool. Glad we came here. I don't even remember what we were doing. The cafe, maybe. I don't know.
We were bringing Astro along to interrogate Von Sanctus.
Well, he's not there, so...
Yeah, so we need to figure other shit out. What the heck? Who is Von Sanctus?
Trust such idealistic notions throw our nation into chaos.
You arrive at the town square and see Lord Von Sanctus speaking to several spectators from a podium.
That's Lord Von Sanctus.
He appears to be giving some sort of speech.
You do your best to remain hidden from his view while you listen in. This
Please
fucker.
understand, the actions of the nobility seem callous. However, we only have your best interests at heart. This controversy with the Dracogen Trading Company is just one of the many examples. These so-called humans, like men like him support, may seem appealing.
Appealing.
They only obfuscate and hinder the nobility from protecting the working class. Men like Stefanik Dracogen are merely charlatans.
I'm sorry, but I really am just getting full-on fucking Dracula vibes from the way you're voicing this character, and it's great.
How appropriate for our discussion.
Only financial gain by strong-arming your true benefactors.
True benefactors. What a joke!
I knew that Von Sanctus was wary of Dracogen. But I never expected him to be this zealous about getting rid of him.
I think it's less about Chakajan specifically and more about what he represents.
What do you mean?
Chakajan Trading has presented tangible proof that its policies are both effective and profitable. Even businesses that have no affiliation with him have started following his example. Von Sanctus is merely a relic of the past. And I think he knows that his archaic ideals won't survive in this landscape. I can only hope that our grand kingdom recognizes this danger as I have.
Political. The pompous noble leaves the podium as citizens ponder his words.
I will not apologize that I will not allow anyone else Von Sanctus while I'm in the call. Bigfoot.
I'm gonna let someone else voice the merchant this time. I did it last time.
What a load of garbage.
Oh.
It's obvious that Von Sanctus knows his days are numbered.
But look at what happened. We let the common folks set their own standards and the young man died.
Guess you have a point there. He saw Von Sanctus get into a carriage shortly after his speech. It appears he's heading back to his manor. Now we can go there. Also, I don't know why the game didn't update.
What game?
This
game?
No, the stream info. There it goes. All right.
Yeah, I was...
I just didn't hit the submit button or something. I thought I did. Whatever.
Gotcha.
It's fine. It should be correct now. There we go. Anyway, we saw Von Sanctus heading back here. We should be able to speak with him soon.
Wait, Tyrion, isn't he going to recognize us?
I can't really avoid that. If we want to question him, we need to speak with him directly. But even a noble like him would have to act civilly with the crown prince present.
Tyrion, how did we get here this fast?
Okay.
You mean like how you civilly embarrassed and insulted him a few days ago?
Right. You completely forgot about the chess tournament. Well, it's not as if we can hide our identities from him. I faced him in the chess tournament, and I'm a Dracogen's attorney. He knows what we look like.
What we look like? Wait, that's it!
What?
Lucia!
Wait, what are you?
Wow. That's quite impressive, Celeste.
Right? I've been practicing that one.
What are you two talking about?
I think you should see for yourself.
The prince gestures towards a nearby mirror in the hallway. You reluctantly approach it. Just what exactly did Celeste do to you? What? Why do I look like Rex Rudolph?
It looks great, right? Harris taught that one to me.
Do you expect me to... Do you expect him to fall for this? He's probably a powerful mage. He'll see right through this.
Are you telling me that the Crown Prince is here? By the way, someone else should take Aster for now.
Men!
Why didn't you notify me sooner?
You hear Von Sanctus shouting at his attendant from down the hallway. He seems to be quickly heading this way.
Uh-oh.
You might want to disguise yourself as well, Celeste.
Don't encourage her. This is extremely illegal.
Right.
Look, you should just dispel this ridiculous disguise.
He's almost here.
Can't think of anyone!
I'm terribly sorry for keeping your highness waiting.
Alicia!
Don't disguise yourself as me. Don't disguise yourself as me.
What was that?
What are you talking about?
I could have sworn I heard something.
Oh my god, you idiot!
Oh no!
Okay, no, I'm doing this. I'm doing this.
Oh,
No, hang on. No, I
no.
used to no, I used to voice her. It's fine.
You absolute
I
idiot!
didn't hear anything either. You must be imagining things.
Good Lord help us, of all the people she could have chosen. At least she's able to mimic her voice well enough. That's very funny.
Call it.
Oh, Lady Steelwind. Wasn't expecting you until much later.
Well, I do not answer to you. I shall do as I please.
The Celeste Steelwind tag again. Come on. It's gotta be related somehow. Yes, I suppose you two have a habit of doing that.
Surprisingly, it doesn't look like he's seen through your disguises. He must have other things on his mind if his guard is down like this.
Anyways, Lord Von Sanctus, pardon the abrupt intrusion. I came by to pay my respects.
I'm honored by your Majesty's presence. Unfortunately, I'm quite busy with administrative matters at the moment.
Too busy to show hospitality to the heir to the throne.
No, I didn't. I wasn't. I suppose I have some time to speak with you.
The conditions aren't ideal, but at least you have Von Sanctus here with you. You should let Prince Aster make small talk with him for a bit. After that, you can subtly bring up the Von Sanctus crest that you found in the vat.
I heard about the charges that you brought against the Dracogen Trading Company. Forgive my bluntness, but is everything well within your estate?
Oh, that. I'm simply cleaning house. Nothing more. I've dealt with plenty of men like Dracogen before, and this time will be no different.
I understand that he may be taking business away from you. But does that really warrant you taking such drastic measures?
It's not just about his business, it's these ideas that he's putting into people's heads. He's allowed these unions to continue existing, and other businesses are following his example. It's absolutely absurd. It's as if the entire world has gone mad.
I see.
Our society only functions when the lower class knows their place.
If that's how our society functions, then perhaps it is flawed.
Fucking based.
You're still young, Prince Aster. These righteous ideals may sound appealing, but they are the path to disorder. The common folk do not care about the well-being of our kingdom as a whole. They only care about themselves individually. If we allow them to become empowered, they will use that power selfishly. It is up to the loyal class to maintain order.
You must be great from that glass house of
see.
yours.
By the way, surprised that you're representing Lord Von Sanctus, Lady Steelwind.
Why?
Oh, right.
What is he doing? It's already hard enough to maintain this ruse.
I know that you recently became a prosecutor, but I never imagined that you'd represent a noble.
Don't get ahead of yourself, Aster.
What does that even mean?
Let's not be coy, Lady Steelwind. If you must know, Your Majesty, how Steelwind and I came to an agreement. The fair lady is so keen on wasting her talents on civil work. Given that, I might as well utilize her to my benefit.
Ooh.
Do not speak to her like that.
I meant no disrespect. But the rest is heard. This is only temporary.
I see. So you have an arrangement with Lucio Steelwind.
Seems that Aster is collecting his own information. Dude, I love Aster. Please don't let him actually be evil. I would hate that.
I know. I want Aster to be the...
By the way, Lord Von Sanctus, have you any of your attendants gone missing lately?
That's an oddly specific question. But no, all of my attendants are accounted for.
You don't see any dissonant threat. You don't see any dissonance thought from the eye. But he could be unconsciously shielding himself from it.
I must ask, why would you ask such a question?
You see, I actually found a discarded trinket while walking around the city. It had the crest of House von Sanctus on it. I was worried that something unsavory might have happened to one of your people.
Ah, I see. Suppose you must be on edge after what happened to your ship. However, items with the von Sanctus crest are quite common nowadays.
Really?
The item that you found must have been a product produced by Von Sanctus Industries.
An item produced by Von Sanctus Industries.
So the Von Sanctus crest is on some of the items produced by your company.
Not just some of the items. The Von Sanctus crest is engraved on every product created by Von Sanctus Industries. As a result, people have come to associate the quality of our products with the quality of House Von Sanctus. Or at least they did until the hacks like Dracogen came out of the woodwork.
So in other words, it's just branding.
I
what
love
type
voicing
of
him.
products does Von Sanctus Industries produce?
Organic labels be like.
I love voicing this asshole.
We used to produce magical accessories for mages. But now we produce all manner of products. As head of commerce in our kingdom, we've diversified our holdings.
Oh.
That means the metal shard could have come from anything. No. Seems like this line of questioning led to a dead end. Is it really impossible to identify where that shard came from?
Do you sell your products to the Dracogen Trading Company?
Yes, of course I do. Despite my misgivings with Dracogen, it would be foolish of me if I didn't do business with him.
That means that there are Von Sanctus products in the Arcane Refinery. You're called Von Sanctus Industries, after all.
It's true. The metal shard could have been from some sort of industrial tool.
Just what are you implying, Lady Steelwind?
A twinge of nervousness through the eye. Does he know something? Why do you get so defensive over a question like that?
Was there a Von Sanctus product in the refinery on the night of the murder?
She misspoke and said murder instead of accident, but that is evoking a reaction.
Answer the question, Von.
Celestial attempts to loudly slam the tip of her cane on the ground, only to realize that her cane isn't actually real. She loses her balance and tips over a nearby vase. The vase shatters on the ground, creating quite a mess of broken shards and water.
Lady Steelwind, are you okay?
Celeste immediately regains her balance and tries to act as if nothing happened.
I'm not paying for that.
Lord Von Sanctus completely loses his composure and recoils at the sight of the broken vase.
Construct, I require your assistance.
It probably
I
had
mean,
his voice.
it's probably not, but we should...
Acknowledged.
Okay.
No kidding.
No, you're good. No, you're good. I was gonna make a joke that we should still do the other voice, but it's fine. You're probably right. It is probably just his voice.
I just realized he just looks like the fucking Shredder.
In response to Von Sanctus's call, an arcane construct walks out from a nearby closet.
Construct, clean up this mess at once.
I'll never get over this Waluigi-ass fucking pose.
know.
He seems very disturbed by the mess. Is he some sort of clean freak?
Acknowledged.
The construct begins quickly picking up the shards of the broken vase.
You own an arcane construct?
I do. Von Sanctus Industries is the inventor of arcane constructs, after all.
Right, you recall Celeste mentioning that earlier.
Would you like one, Your Highness?
My apologies. I'm not very interested in using artificery.
Suit yourself.
In any case, I'm afraid Lady Steelwind must be taking her leave now.
What?
Remember? You said that you could only accompany me for 1 hour. It's close to being 1 hour, right, Lady Steelwind?
I like how they're not talking
What
about
are
time.
you? Oh, right. 1 hour. It would definitely not be good for us to be here for more than 1 hour.
Oh, does this illusion only last for an hour?
In the meantime, may I discuss some personal matters with you, Lord Von Sanctus?
Of course, I'm at your disposal, Your Majesty.
You raise an eyebrow at the prince. It appears that he didn't come here to just help you. But you suppose that you've gotten all the information you need out of Von Sanctus. It's time to move on to the next lead.
That was embarrassing.
Yep, that was a bit too close for comfort.
Well, at least no one saw through our disguises.
You an attendant here? Please notify Lord Von Sanctus that I...
Oh, no.
The real Arya Steelwind walks through the front door of the manor, just as you are about to exit. She immediately stops in her tracks upon meeting her doppelganger.
Arborio.
With one spell, Steelwind dispels the illusions over you and Celeste. Upon seeing who you really are, she lets out an irritated sigh.
Impersonating the Steelwind's some kind of hobby for you, Miss McCoy.
She looks really angry this time.
I am so freaking.
But no! There was a really good reason for us doing this.
Let me guess. You wanted to interrogate Von Sanctus without him knowing who you really were.
No?
Lying about your crime is one matter, but impersonating a noble using magic is a serious crime.
Tyrion, help, please?
Are you seriously gonna have to defend her in court again?
He really is my,
You quickly try to think of a way to defuse the situation.
Sorry for the wait, you two. I had to discuss... Lady Steelwind.
Great. According to Astor, Steelwind despises him. Knowing that he was a part of this will just make things worse. Oh!
Oh, no!
Why is he here?
She's tsundere!
Absolute Cinderella, holy shit.
What?
Well, I didn't think it was possible for her to go higher in the tiers, but I guess she just did. Better watch out, Celeste, she's coming for you. Oh, I see, you've dispelled their disguises.
That's
You
you.
knew about this?
Astor steps between you and Steelwind. It seems that he's trying to calm her down. For better or worse, her attention is firmly focused on him.
I'm terribly sorry, I didn't mean to disrespect you.
No, that's not why I... Oh, he's really close.
I think my headcanon is coming back into focus that she rants about Tyrion to him.
Yep.
They pulled this ruse under my orders. Could you please look the other way, just this once?
Okay.
Thank you, Lady Steelwind. I won't forget this.
Oh my god.
Okay, we need. I'm going to tier list maker and making a tier just called best girls, and it's just Celeste and Steelwind.
Oh my god.
I need to go.
Oh my god.
Did that at least come through?
I don't
Yes.
think it did. I wasn't.
Oh.
I lost. Oh, I couldn't.
Like, it was just,
Meanwhile,
Look at you
Aster in
now.
the background. See? She hates me.
Well, that certainly was something.
My dear Crown Prince, have you heard of a tsundere before?
I have felt like utter complete shit all day. Had to
This-
leave work sick. That was the highlight of the week.
This game's writing is so good. Oh, so good.
Even when that writing is clearly just slamming on the keyboard for a very specific instance.
They know their audience.
I'm sorry you two had to see that.
What?
It's as I said before, she absolutely detests me. You saw it, didn't you? She could barely look me in the eye.
Oh my god.
In any case, we're starting to run out of time. We should head back to the refinery.
I don't need special eyes to see this!
No, you don't.
But we still don't know where the metal shot came from.
From what Von Sanctus told us, I don't think we can find out exactly where it came from. Each of Von Sanctus's products has that crest. Could be any number of things. But hopefully Dracogen can help us narrow that list down. If it did come from some kind of industrial tool, he might be able to check if any of the refinery's tools are missing. You just hope he can provide you with some kind of lead.
Oh my god, I haven't laughed that hard since the bees.
The bees? Oh my gosh!
Unhinged jaw, bees pour out.
Oh, what voice did
I need
have
to
for
take a
this
drink
guy?
after that scream.
I mean, understandable. Hello again, Mr. Cuthbert. I hope you have good news.
Well, actually, you take some time to explain to Dracogen what you found during your investigation. You're still uncertain about the identity of the second victim. That metal shard with the Von Sanctus crest is your best lead right now.
I see.
With that said, do you have any tools that you've purchased from Von Sanctus Industries?
I do. He personally sold me quite a few when I first arrived in the city. I even purchased the security system for the refinery building from him.
Really? Did you purchase anything else from him?
Well, he also tried to sell me some of those arcane constructs. He told me I could be the first person in Oranax to own such innovative technology, but I turned him down.
Really? But they seem so useful.
I don't feel comfortable trusting machines to handle the work here. Those constructs require very specific instructions, and they lack common sense.
That's true. We saw how unreliable they could be during the Nightgrave case.
He heavily emphasized how exclusive this deal would be for me. Looking back on it, he was probably trying to make me dependent on his services.
Yeah, I guess you made the right choice by refusing his offer.
Base Dracogen said no to AI.
Anyway, have any of the tools from Von Sanctus Industries been reported missing?
The Inquisition actually asked me the same question, so I took some time today to check my inventory.
Why would the Inquisition ask him for that? Did Steelwind come to the same conclusion that you did?
There was one tool that was unaccounted for.
Really? What kind of tool was it?
A rod of mending. It's a large tool that we use to repair damage on the machines.
A tool for repairs. How large was it?
Quite large, actually. It's called a rod, but it's more of a large cylindrical tool. It requires 2 people to properly carry and use it.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Wait, a repair tool like that you would use transmutation magic, right?
That's right.
What if the Rod of Mending was the thing that weakened the guardrail?
Is that possible, Dracogen?
I suppose that is possible. Now that you mention it, I recall there being a way to reverse its effects.
You never even considered that the transmutation traces were left by an artificery tool. That does lift some suspicion off of Aster.
Someone could have sabotaged the rail with the rod. And they might have thrown it into the vat to cover their tracks.
But it didn't completely dissolve. That would mean that they threw the rod in close to when Justin fell off the walkway. It can't be a coincidence that these 2 events happened so close to each other.
And we still have no idea who actually broke the guardrail. We didn't find a second body in the vat, and we don't have evidence that proves a second victim even exists.
Is it going to end up being another construct? It's probably going to end up being another construct.
I don't know,
Pretty sure it's
actually.
another construct. I feel as if we have more questions than answers at the moment.
We've learned a few new facts about the case, though. And the Inquisition has verified the traces of transmutation on the guardrail. Burden of proof is still on the prosecution to prove that Dracogen is at fault. Even if Steelwind has a proper explanation for that, I can counter her with the facts that we've learned thus far.
I just hope that trial goes as smoothly as you're describing.
It rarely ever does, but knowing that would just needlessly stress him out.
Regardless, I appreciate the work that you've done thus far. I'll leave things in your very capable hands.
You just hope that you don't encounter any more curveballs tomorrow. By the
You
way,
are.
Sai, when you get the chance, reset your mic. It's starting to crackle.
Fuck!
Snap, crackle, pop, Rice Krispies.
Be right back.
Court is now resumed for the trial of Stefanik Dracogen. Let us review the proceedings from 2 days ago. At first, the facts of the case seemed very straightforward. The victim, Justin Way, put his weight on a poorly maintained guardrail on the refinery grounds. Said guardrail broke, causing Justin Way to fall to his death. However, the defense presented a shocking piece of evidence in the previous proceedings. Traces of transmutation magic were found on that same broken guardrail. This new evidence implies that sabotage, if not outright foul play, played a part in the death of the victim. This evidence is also accompanied by conflicting testimonies from witnesses. All of these elements have thrown quite some doubt on the validity of the prosecution's case.
Yes. However, the prosecution maintains that the Dracogen Trading Company is the fault for Justin Way's death.
Even though someone may have sabotaged the guardrails,
The prosecution acknowledges that sabotage may have occurred at the scene of the accident. However, we also believe that there are several factors in this case that the court is overlooking. As we all know, several witnesses were present at the refinery at the time of the accident. The harbor master was showing a patron around the refinery. Masaroko Tsurudo was making a food delivery into the building. And of course, the victim, Justin Way, was obviously present as well. Each and every one of these people had no business being in the refinery that night.
In the case of the harbor master and his patron, it would be hardly reasonable for anyone to stop them. You doubt anyone would stand in the way of the Crown Prince.
That may be. But Justin Way worked in the freight division and should not have been at the scene.
I've already verified this with my client. The victim was not authorized to be in the refinery building.
And who stopped just away from entering the area unauthorized? Isn't it the defendant's duty to prevent such individuals from entering the building?
My client can't be held responsible for Justin's breach of the set protocols. And you surely can't hold my client responsible for someone sabotaging the guardrail.
This so-called sabotage is only theoretical until a proper culprit is found.
I might be compelled to agree with you, Miss Steelwind. After all, there's no hard evidence that proves traces of transmutation were left by a specific spell.
What kind of mental gymnastics is that? Every part of the guardrail that had trace on it was rusted.
In the context of what happened to suit their purposes, hard evidence means everything here, and the rod of mending has been reduced to shards in the vat. Without the complete rod, you can't prove that someone used it to sabotage the guardrail.
Regardless, is it not the responsibility of the Dragon Trading Company to ensure that employees do not wander into restricted areas? Blaming a potential saboteur puts the cart before the horse. It doesn't just stop with Justin Way either. What was Mosaruka Tuda able to enter the building? She doesn't even work for the refinery, yet she was able to waltz into the building without any trouble.
Actually, Steelwind does have a point about Rika. Shouldn't something have stopped her from entering that area? You doubt that Dragogen would show that kind of negligence. That's true. I believe that we should hear from Miss Tudor directly. Let's hear how easily she gained access to the refinery on the day of the accident.
We've already anticipated that. Mosaruka Tuda is prepared and ready to testify.
Very well then. Bailiff, please escort Miss Tudor to the stand.
Lord, I'm so glad I was drinking soda for a good while before this came up.
Miss Tudor, are you aware of why you've been called here today?
Yeah, I heard it from the gallery.
Then you have no problem answering the following question. Did you encounter resistance when you entered the refinery on the night of the incident? Witness, may I remind you that you are under oath to tell the court everything that you know. Failure to do so is a crime.
No, no one tried to stop me. Sorry, Tyrion.
You have nothing to apologize for, witness. The only one at fault is the Dragon Trading Company and their negligence.
Hey, that's...
For the record, please testify in detail about how you entered the refinery that day, Miss Tudor.
Okay.
My throat hurts from that laugh.
That day I was looking for Justin in the freight area, but I couldn't find him. Decided to look for him in the refinery's main building. There was some kind of magical door leading into it, but it was unlocked. Nothing really stopped me from entering the refinery building.
As the court can clearly see, there were no safeguards preventing the witness from entering that restricted area.
It was Magical's lock was there that was just unlocked. Thank you,
The
Tyrion.
witness clearly stated that there was a magical door leading into the building. This was obviously some sort of security door powered by artificery.
Which was still unlocked and effectively useless.
Damn it, there must be a way to prove that the unlocked door wasn't Dracogen's fault.
Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination.
By magical door, do you mean that it was powered by artificery?
Yeah, I have a door kit in my restaurant, too. But this one was a lot more complex.
Why would you or Dracogen need magical doors, anyways?
The one in my cafe magically locks the shop when I close it for the day. I guess the door in the refinery was for the same thing.
But that means there was a mechanism to keep out unauthorized personnel.
which was effectively useless. The witness entered the refinery and encountered zero resistance. Furthermore, the Inquisition has already logged the specs for the door.
Hello? The only entrance to the refinery building is a door with an artificery lock. Magical keys can be used to unlock the door for 5 seconds. After these 5 seconds, the lock automatically closes the door and engages the lock. The lock can only be disabled by a Stephonic Dracogen. The door could be physically prevented from closing, but this would trigger an alarm within the refinery security system.
Did you use a key to unlock the door, Miss Tudor?
No, I didn't.
As you can see from this report, Stephonic Dracogen was the only person capable of disabling the lock.
I guess Mr. Dracogen kept the door unlocked during work hours.
This means that it's entirely Dracogen's fault that the victim gained access to the building in the first place.
Wait, that's not what I meant.
You're already on for breaking and entering, bitch. But that is what you implied. Unless you can prove that another person disabled the door.
You can't refute that statement, yet. But you might be able to work with this new information. Regardless, please add that last statement to your testimony, witness.
Alright. Must have disabled the lock. No one else could have.
No. Did we not have a thing about...
Like
There's
we talked
also
about.
more to scroll down.
God, it's been a hot minute. Trying to remember.
Check the gold bar testimony.
This one?
No.
The gold bar.
Oh,
The
gold
gold bar.
Ah,
Okay,
that
yeah,
could
no, there we go.
disable mundane and magical locks.
Yeah, I was trying to remember where the robbery thing was. Yeah, no, obviously. Thank you. I knew what I was looking for, I just couldn't fucking remember where it was. Miss Steelwind, you claim that my client expressed negligence by disabling the door. This is the reason why the security door was unlocked, and why the current witness was able to enter the building.
That's correct. Your client's negligence allowed unauthorized persons like Justin Wayne to gain access to the building. And regardless of any sabotage, Justin Wade died because he was in said unauthorized area.
And what if I told you that another person may have disabled the door? Not because of laziness, but for more nefarious purposes.
What are you talking about?
If you recall, the witness entered the refinery building and spotted Justin Way afterward. This means that Justin Way entered the building before her. So that begs the question, how did Justin Way enter the building?
The answer is obvious. He entered the same way the witness did. Through the unlocked door.
Not quite, Miss Steelwind. Since this trial began, we still haven't answered why Justin Way entered the refinery building in the first place. He entered the refinery building with the intent of robbing my client's personal safe.
I already told you, Tyrion. I would never do something like that.
You feel a little guilty about insinuating a dead man's name like this. But it's the only possibility that makes sense. I'm sorry, Rika, but there are things about Justin that even you didn't know about. The truth is that he was already deeply in debt to a crime lord named the Eye Taker, and he was extremely desperate to wipe that debt as soon as he could.
Crime lord?
I won't ask how you came across this information, Mr. Cuthbert. But what does this have to do with the disabled magical lock?
Miss Steelwind, Justin owned a set of tools that he used for picking mundane and magical locks. The safe that he was planning to rob was located in my client's office within the refinery building. I have witnesses who saw Justin retrieve those tools shortly before the night of the accident. He clearly had a plan to disable any locks that stood between him and that safe. This means that it's entirely possible that Justin disabled the locked refinery door illegally. Sigh.
The one time that I have the freaking thing minimized for a moment.
That's how they
We're
get
not
you.
actually going to bring them in, are we?
Yeah, I'm kind of bluffing right now. You basically assaulted one of them.
We both assaulted him, Tyrion.
She says that as if it absolves her of any guilt.
Hold on a minute. You can't just accuse him like that when he can't defend himself.
Sorry, Rika, but his delinquent friends told me about his plan. He didn't want to rob Dracogen, but he needed the gold to wipe away his debt. If Justin wasn't the one who disabled that lock, that would only leave Dracogen.
But there has to be an explanation where neither are guilty.
She definitely believes in Justin, but a scenario where both Justin and Dracogen are innocent is too optimistic. It's not impossible. But it's not as if you're entirely certain of what actually happened that day either. Alright, Rika. You knew Justin better than I did. Let's assume that you're correct. Neither Justin nor Dracogen disabled the locks that day. How did either of you enter the refinery then?
Well, someone must have disabled it before then. Wait, let me think through this. Plenty of people could have disabled the locks. Maybe one of the employees got lazy and forcefully broke it. There was also that nobleman who was with Mr. Morrison. He's a mage and could have used magic. Could have also been one of the maintenance constructs. I saw one working on the machines. Maybe one of them broke the lock.
There we go.
Oh.
Yep, that's the one. That's the one we need to focus on. There's not supposed to be any constructs in that room.
I can barely even begin to point out all the issues with your theories, Miss Tudor. If you recall, the entrance lock can only be disabled by Stephanic Dracogen. Even Mr. Cuthbert's theory makes more sense than your list of suspects.
She's right. It doesn't matter how many suspects she presents, none of them had the credentials to disable the lock. So why do you feel like there's something else wrong with her testimony? The defense would still like to exercise the right to cross-examine the witness.
Waste of time.
Well, the court agrees with Miss Steelwind. We also recognize Mr. Cuthbert's right to cross-examination. However, I will not allow the defense to waste the court's time. If nothing substantial is gained from your cross-examination, I will not hesitate to end it early.
Understood, Your Honor. Don't worry, I'm about to blow this case wide fucking open. I think we can just straight up present this. Wait, which one is it?
Yeah,
It is
no,
this one?
there. However, Stephanic Dracogen did not trust the construct's abilities to perform tasks effectively. He did not purchase them.
Yeah, there we go. Yep. Wait, that can't be right, can it? Rika, you just said that you saw a maintenance construct inside the refinery building. Are you sure that it was an arcane construct?
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on them in the Von Sanctus catalogs. But they're not available to the public yet.
When you saw this arcane construct, what was it doing?
Not exactly sure. But it looked like it was doing maintenance on the machines.
Maintenance on the machines. But it shouldn't have been there in the first place. What was it doing there? And most importantly, who sent it there?
Where are you going with this, Mr. Cuthbert? Arcane constructs only perform the actions that they're ordered to do. A constructed arcane refinery would only take orders from their administrator, Stefanik Dracogen. Unless you want to apply the construct book with lock on his orders.
I agree. A construct owned by my client wouldn't have done that. But arcane constructs are extremely rare and not available to the general public yet. Furthermore, they're only produced and sold by Von Sanctus Industries. Lloyd Von Sanctus personally sold several products to Dracogen Trading Company. However, when offered the opportunity to purchase his arcane constructs, my client turned him down.
What?
Well, my client disliked the construct's flawed intelligence. He didn't want them working in the refinery. He turned down Lord Von Sanctus's offer in favor of utilizing human labor.
Wait, then why was the construct there?
Exactly. If my client did not own any constructs, why did the witness see one there? Or, to phrase this question differently, who sent that construct there?
Who? Why would anyone send an arcane construct into the refinery?
First, let's consider the rarity of the arcane constructs. They're highly experimental and not available to the public yet. With all of these elements in mind, only one person in the city of Arnex could have done this.
Wait! You can't possibly mean...
I do, Miss Sealwind. Few individuals had access to arcane constructs, and even fewer had the ability to disable the locked door without alerting the security system. Alright, motherfucker, time to take the stand. Where are you? Only one individual could have done everything that I described. Lloyd Von Sanctus, the noble lord of Aranax.
Sir? The hell?
Be serious. Are you accusing Lord Von Sanctus of illegally sending a construct into the arcane refinery? What possible reason could he have to do that?
I
Rika
love
saw
your
the construct.
fear.
She said it was working on the machines. But that construct was sent by Von Sanctus. It didn't actually work for Dracogen. Wait, could that mean... Rika, when you saw that construct in the refinery, was it carrying anything?
Yeah, actually. It was carrying a large cylindrical machine, and it looked pretty heavy.
Like it would normally need to be held by two people?
Yeah, how did you know?
It all makes sense now. Von Sanctus has been far too aggressive in pushing these charges. It wasn't because he was desperate to get rid of Dracogen, it's because he needed to cover up what actually happened.
Mr. Cuthbert, where are you going with this?
You see, Your Honor, the tool that the witness saw this construct carrying wasn't just any tool. It was a rod of mending, an artificery tool that channels transmutation magic.
Transmutation magic. As in, magic that could be used to weaken and sabotage parts of the refinery.
No, are you seriously accusing?
Your Honor, Lord Von Sanctus sent a construct into the arcane refinery to sabotage it. In other words, Lord Von Sanctus is responsible for that guardrail breaking.
No, let him cook.
I think that's enough out of.
Whoa.
What were you gonna say there, boy?
I accidentally kicked my, my power strip and turned off one of my monitors.
Oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
It's back on.
I think that's enough out of you, you upstart commoner.
Bailiff, tackle him!
The judge really needs to stop these guys from just barging onto the stand.
To be fair, who's going to stop a noble from a pillar family?
I've had enough of these blatant accusations. If you want to sling mud at my name, you will do it to me directly.
Gladly.
Lord Von Sanctus.
I got mud
would
right here.
Lord Von Sanctus, I would highly advise against doing this.
Please, do you think I'm that fool, Pierce? The defense's theory is laughable. I have several pieces of evidence that can easily prove my innocence.
He has a
Then
good
where is
poker
it?
face with the eyes, telling you that he's a little desperate.
Very well. If the defense wishes to accuse you, I see no harm in allowing you to defend yourself.
Mr. Cuthbert, show him no mercy.
The court would very much like to hear your testimony on the matter.
I think we all would.
Bailiff, smack his nuts.
It is possible to order a construct to complete a complex list of tasks, but doing so is ill-advised. I'm sure you observed this with the Nightgrave trial. Constructs are extremely prone to error when completing a long list of tasks.
Oh, motherfucker! I get it.
According to the defense, the saboteur stole a rod of mending and used it to sabotage very specific sections of the refinery. I'm having way too much fun with this guy's voice when I feel like
Mhm.
shit.
It sounds like you're trying. It sounds like you're trying to do Starline.
I
would need a picture to know who that is.
Okay, give me a second. I shall provide you one.
In the
since I
meantime,
have-
continue.
I would never trust a construct to discreetly complete such an intricate set of tasks unsupervised.
Mm-hmm.
There's that. And before you ask, I was miles away from the refinery at the time of the accident. I have several associates who can confirm this alibi. Therefore, I had no way of observing this construct from afar, nor did I have any way to communicate with it.
That's bullshit. No, Tyrion, that's bullshit. We already have that piece of evidence. The Nightgrave trial revealed the risks of ordering a construct to commit a crime, but nevertheless, Rika saw a construct at the refinery that day. That's indisputable. He definitely gave the construct a complex list of tasks to sabotage the refinery, and that raises one question. How did he account for the construct's error-prone logic?
I recall that apparently there was someone saying to stop and
Yep.
I
I mean, that's information that Tyrion doesn't have, but we do have this.
uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure this is just it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, good. We're good. Von Sanctus, you testified that there was no way for you to observe and communicate with the construct. Am I correct?
Yes, I was at that meeting with Steelman for the entire day. Anyone there could testify to that fact.
I'm not disputing your so-called alibi, but it's not as airtight as you might think.
What are you talking about?
Oh, him. Yes.
I was there at that meeting, Mr. Cuthbert. Lord Von Sanctus may have been absent in mind, but he was there physically.
Absent in mind, so his attention wasn't focused on the meeting. Which means his attention was somewhere else. I suppose you're correct, Miss Steelwind, but I have one question for you, Lord Von Sanctus.
Pah! And what would that be?
Are you able to cast the Send Message spell?
What?
I love this music.
Miss Steelwind, your client may have been physically at the meeting, but his attention was somewhere else, wasn't it? He could have
Don't go
used
on
a
calling him my client.
He could have used a combination of spells to view the construct during the meeting, and could have used the Send Message spell to communicate with it over a large distance. If my claim is truly false, then your client should have no trouble disproving it with his spell compendium.
Will.
Von Sanctus?
You appear to be hesitating, Von Sanctus. Can I assume that you do know how to cast Send Message? If so, that would punch a gigantic hole in your alibi.
Steelwind, you were there, weren't you? My attention was fully there. Needed to cover for me. The idea that I was communicating with a construct is absurd.
I'm afraid I can't say that, Lord Von Sanctus.
Steelwind?
I did find it odd. Your attention appeared to be elsewhere despite the gravity of our discussion. And I seem to recall you speaking under your breath the entire time. I'd always just assumed that you were muttering obscenities. But Mr. Cuthbert's explanation does seem possible.
What are you saying? Are you obliged? Aren't you obliged to defend me?
I am obligated to represent you to the best of my ability. I am not obligated to forge your alibi for you.
You little...
Love her.
End that sentence.
Lord Von Sanctus, I'm afraid the court needs an answer. Are you able to cast the send message spell?
Fine, I admit it, okay? I am able to cast send message. But that still doesn't prove anything.
His voice betrays a hint of desperation.
I want you to know I am fully motioning on my end.
Excellent, as
Yeah.
you should be. You have him right where you want him. Now's the opportunity to deal the final blow. So why do you feel uneasy? There are still two details that don't sit well with you.
And I looked to see what it was. I saw Justin was hanging over the walkway.
Rika saw Justin fall over the guardrail, and even though Von Sanctus sabotaged it, the second person that fell into the vat is still unaccounted for. Luckily, you didn't need to prove that the second person existed, but not having an explanation for Astor and Morris's testimony still irks you. However, even if it's not a clean ending, there's only one way forward, and that's revealing Von Sanctus for the petty saboteur that he is.
Argument time.
Why did you hesitate so long to answer my question, Von Sanctus?
You know very well why I hesitated. Why would I willingly give you evidence? You clearly intend to use it against me.
Regardless, this entirely disproves your alibi. You could have communicated with your construct at the meeting.
By that logic, I could be the mastermind behind every crime that occurs in Aranax. I may have had the means to commit the crime, but there are plenty of individuals who could have sent a construct.
I
Nope.
know. This one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Von Sanctus, you of all people should know that arcane constructs are not available to the public. When you attempted to sell these constructs to Dracogen, you promised him that he would be the first merchant in Arnax to own one. Since he refused your offer, that would leave you as the only owner of arcane constructs in Oranax.
That's... Well, I admit, I may have not been that truthful when I made my sales pitch.
So you're saying that you lied to my client?
Oh, please. Every good businessman knows how to embellish the truth when making a sale. I've sold constructs to them. The truth is, I've sold those constructs to plenty of other individuals in Aranax.
If only. Yeah, that's
It
thoughts.
would be too dangerous to sell it to anyone else.
Thoughts, yeah. Frankly, Von Sanctus, I find that hard to believe. After the Nightgrave trial, you must have been a lot more fearful about who you sold your constructs to. You only tried to sell your constructs to Dracogen so that you could control him. You wouldn't have done that otherwise.
Is that so? Then why don't you prove it?
No, Von Sanctus. Why don't you prove your statement? Show us any invoice that proves you made a sale to someone in Aranax.
Well, who says the saboteur lived in Aranax when I made the sale?
Are you serious?
Aranax is the trading hub. Plenty of people come and go from the city. any one of my customers could have secretly entered the city to carry out the sabotage.
There's a fucking
Nope.
no. Von Sanctus, you might have been right under any other circumstance, but the Kingsguard locked down the city on the day of that the accident occurred. No one except for a select few individuals could have left or entered the city. And, due to the gravity of the situation, the Kingsguard created profiles for everyone within the city. Why don't we cross-reference the records taken by the Kingsguard with the list of individuals who you sold constructs to? But I suppose from your reaction, that list would come up empty. So why don't you admit your crimes, Von Sanctus? Or do I have to drag the evidence into court myself?
Wait. Drag the evidence into court.
What?
Why don't you go ahead and do that, Mr. Cuthbert? Bring in your so-called evidence.
I don't know where this confidence is coming from, but we can easily detect the traces of divination and transmutation on the constructs you own.
Assuming that construct still exists, that is.
You dumbass.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's right.
Yeah.
If he used the construct to commit a crime like this, he would have definitely disposed of it by now. Even within the blockade, Arnex is a gigantic city. With his resources, he could have hidden it anywhere in the city. It would be a needle hidden within a town of haystacks. We still have the testimony of Mosarika Tudor, and I'm sure many other people saw that construct walking around the refinery.
The common folk can hardly be trusted to recognize complex artificial. Without the actual construct, you have several unreliable witnesses. Tell me, Lady Steelwind, can I be convicted of such a serious charge with such evidence?
Well, I suppose not.
I mean, is he seriously going to get away with this? No, you still have one card up your sleeve. If you can just find out where he disposed of the evidence, you might be able to direct the Inquisition there. Come on, focus on his thoughts, Tyrion. Debate the Empowered Eye.
Your undignified glaring will do you no favors.
What? Why isn't it working?
The Eye of Horus is a powerful tool, Tyrion. But that's twice now you've used the Empower Eye to get out of a corner. If you keep relying on that one trick, you'll never grow as an attorney. One day you'll find a witness that the Empowered Eye won't work on.
Miss Tamara was right. You've been relying on the Empowered Eye too much. Tyrion, this is one of the most fucking easy things to figure out. Come on, you don't need the eye for this.
From your silence, I assume you have no way to rebut my claim. I suppose that makes it checkmate, you upstart commoner. Honestly, I can't believe you'd resort to accusing me of manslaughter. What a crass and underhanded tactic. But I suppose I wouldn't expect anything less from a charlatan like you.
Damn it.
What the hell are you doing?
What?
That look on your face. Are you seriously giving up?
I...
I've seen you get out of plenty situations like this. So why are you giving up this time?
I'm sorry, Celeste, but I can't use my usual strategies. There's no way to find the evidence that we need.
For fuck's sake, Tyrion! I'm
Look
giving
in
this
your
one
pocket.
to you!
Seriously, there's always a way, Tyrion. If your usual strategy's not working, then you just need to do something different.
She's right. You don't need to see directly into his mind to utilize your skills as an attorney. You might not be able to rely on the Eye of Horus this time, but you've always been able to rely on your deductive reasoning.
Well, seems like you have no more questions for me.
And you clearly don't have a shred of physical evidence to support your claims. I'll be taking my leave now.
I'm not quite done with you yet, Von Sanctus.
What is this theme and why do I want it on loop?
Dude, this game has such good, like, fucking jazz music. It's so good.
Honestly, your desperation is almost pitiful. You should really lose to lead with dignity, Mr. Cuthbert.
He's the last person you want to hear that from. Calm your mind and focus. You may not be able to read Von Sanctus's mind in the literal sense, but you can still extrapolate his plan and actions. Let's explore my theory a little more and see for ourselves if there's no physical evidence. If you wanted to use a construct, you would have needed to maintain a constant communication. So, to prove this communication occurred, we would need something that connects you to it. Send message can normally only target a person, but arcane constructs probably don't count as people for the purposes of that spell. What piece of evidence would that leave behind? That! The object that Lord Von Sanctus attuned to. An arcane construct isn't a person, so you must have used an object attuned to your magic to communicate with it. Miss Steelwind, if we were able to find that object, would that tie your client to the sabotage?
Hypothetically, yes. The Inquisition has divination magic, and they can use it to detect if an object is attuned to a specific mage.
Good luck finding such evidence. If I did perform these tasks, their mink could be anywhere in Arlenax.
I'm not so sure about that, Von Sanctus. Let's look at things from your perspective. Why would you do the things that you did that day? Knowing that will point us to where you ultimately hid the construct. Your intention was to sabotage the refinery without anyone finding out what you did. So how would you dispose of the construct and the attuned item? Oh, come on, this is so easy.
Wait, destroy?
The evidence was thrown into the vat owned by Dracogen. Volatile liquid. You used the vat of volatile liquid. You suppose that makes sense. You found the remnants of the Rod of Mending in there too.
But wouldn't that mean that the object is fully dissolved?
Exactly. There would be no physical evidence for you to find.
Also, I'm sorry, Sai, but your mic. That's not necessarily true. You threw the Rod of Mending into the vat, and that didn't fully dissolve.
What?
The workers neutralized the liquid immediately after Justin fell into the vat.
What? Neutralizing that liquid would have rendered it unsalvageable and useless. Doing that would have cost Dracogen a small fortune.
Unlike you, Von Sanctus, my client values the lives of his workers over his profits. And because of that, the Inquisition was able to find pieces of bone matter and metal within the vat. Wait, the rod didn't fully dissolve. That means that it was thrown into the vat around the same time that Justin fell into it. You wouldn't have thrown the rod into the vat until after you were done with your sabotage. And if you wanted to destroy the rod, you would have destroyed all the evidence that you needed to get rid of. I mean, you have also
guardrail.
destroyed the guardrail! The arcane construct itself.
That's ridiculous. Lady Steelwind, why aren't you?
Let him cook. I will defend you to the best of my ability, but I will not fabricate an alibi for you.
You must have ordered the construct to throw itself into the vat to hide any traces of your sabotage. A machine resembling a human threw itself into the vat. That means anyone looking at the walkway would have seen this. That's it! The arcane construct was the second person that Aster and Morrison saw fall into the vat. That's why we didn't find organic matter from anyone other than Justin in there. The second body that Aster and Morrison saw was actually an arcane construct.
How dare...
Wait,
Tyrion, did you just say his name out loud?
Rika and was sure that she saw Justin fall off the walkway. After she notified Aster and Morrison, they saw the construct break the guardrail and fall into the vat. Wouldn't that mean that the construct disposed of itself after Justin Wayne fell off the walkway? Why would you order it to do that?
Because it never happened. Your logic is flawed.
He's getting stressed out. Maybe you should try using the empowered eye. No, you don't need it this time. You're so close to figuring this out, you can feel it. So think. If he was observing the construct using magic, he must have seen Justin fall. And for some reason he reacted by sabotaging the guardrail. Why would he ignore seeing that happen? Unless he did all this because he saw Justin fall. To look like an accident.
Not Justin
No,
wanted.
Not Justin, yeah. It's because
Justin
you
wanted
wanted
Justin's ex.
It's because you wanted it to look like an accident. Which means that it wasn't actually an accident.
Oh, now you're accusing me of intentionally murdering the victim. Why would I ever? You said it yourself, my goal was sabotage. Committing murder would have brought unnecessary attention to what I've done.
But those constructs do have a habit of shoving people that are in their way. What if the construct pushed Justin out of the way, causing him to fall over the edge of the guardrail?
It's almost like he was just in the way.
Haha, yep.
Everything that happened from just a few clues.
Hey, I didn't see you there. I was just
Just walk past him. Acknowledged.
What? Hey, watch it! Quit shoving me! Whoa! Holy crap, pull me up! I can't hold on for much longer!
You idiot, what are you doing?
What?
Grab his arm and pull him up. Acknowledged.
Gah! My hand! What the hell are you doing?
Your grip is too tight. Stop that. Stop that right now.
Oh.
my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Cast it into the fire!
I can still.
It may have been unintentional, but either way, you would have been at fault for Justin's death, not my client. And if the construct fell in after Justin, your attuned object must be somewhere in the neutralized liquid. No, it's even better than that. Constructs are made from a specific magical alloy, aren't they? I'm sure with a few divination spells we can identify the metal shards from the construct and your arcane focus. Each and every one of those pieces of evidence points directly at you, Von Sanctus.
You peasant. You petulant little upstart.
And that's checkmate, Von Sanctus. Why don't you save us all a little time, Von Sanctus? Admit to what you did. And while you're at it, drop your false allegations against my client.
I have nothing to admit to, nor do I have anything to apologize for.
Of course not. You're completely blameless, right?
You think you've achieved victory here today? No. Dissidents like you and Drakagen are absolutely deluded. Each and every breath you take only throws Wyvern-God further into chaos.
You talk about these commoners as if they have even a fraction of the power that you have.
Lady Steelwind, you need to see reason. They lack awareness of the power they truly have.
What?
These people have infected you and His Majesty with these idealistic delusions. I implore you, I implore both of you to see reality for what it is.
No, Von Sanctus. The true reality is that people like you become threatened when we challenge your power.
You all speak of the rights of the individual. You speak as if each and every one of you wouldn't stab each other on the back the moment that it benefited yourselves. You may hate the nobility. You may curse, scream, and blame us all for your little problems. The truth is that you need us. You need us to direct and lead you. You need us to maintain the fragile order that holds your peaceful little lives together.
You talk about protecting the common folk from themselves. But the truth is that your actions led to the death of an innocent man. That is the only truth that matters. The defense has no further questions for the witness. He is dismissed.
Very well.
I loved that.
We
I
did it
loved-
again, Tyrion!
I loved voicing that so much.
That was good, yeah.
And we even caught another murder in the process.
Yeah, we couldn't get the case officially dismissed today. But it's pretty much inevitable with the evidence that we brought in today.
Actually, probably won't even reach that point. I've advised Lord Von Sanctus to drop the suit entirely. Word has already spread regarding the evidence that you brought forward. At this point, prolonging the trial would just harm his public image even more.
That's great! Now you can build a case against him for Justin's death.
About that, I'll probably be forced to accuse myself from any charges brought against him.
What? Why?
It's because you represented him in the suit, isn't it? It would be considered a conflict of interest to prosecute him yourself. Even though you're probably the only prosecutor that would convict him successfully.
You're correct. As the head of one of the Pillar families, he has the justice system dancing on the sand. He would definitely be quietly and swiftly acquitted. I would never have agreed to represent him if I'd known about this. I'm truly sorry.
Damn it. He must have had this all planned from the start.
No. Is he seriously going to get away with this?
Not if we assassinate him.
Speaking
I
of
wouldn't be so sure about that.
Dracogen,
He may be acquitted in the legal sense, but the court of public opinion is a different thing entirely.
What do you mean?
You brought forward a myriad of evidence against him, and I'm sure everyone in the gallery saw it too. Von Sanctus's power relies on his public image, and you quite handily tore down that facade. He may walk free, but his power and ideals have taken a great blow.
is that seriously all we can do? Yeah, everyone hydrate, especially you, Pokemon Jesus.
I'm going to grab water now.
His actions and recklessness resulted in the death of Justin Way. He should be punished within the letter of the law.
You're not wrong, Mr. Cuthbert. But sometimes we must take the victories that we can get.
She's probably right. But there's one thing that's still nagging at me.
Oh? And what's that?
Why was your safe unlocked if nothing was stolen? If Justin had gotten to your safe, he would have taken your gold with him. It wouldn't still be there.
Considering that nothing is missing, I'd rather leave it at that.
Really?
Justin was a good man. I'd rather not taint anyone's memory of him, especially Mosarika's.
Right, she was pretty upset about your accusations.
Nothing was taken, so no harm was done in that regard.
I suppose so. Can't help but wonder what actually happened. I have the sneaking suspicion that there was a fucking bug or something that was placed in the safe. The eye taker probably had it. Oh, well,
Oh, well! Kirby, you keep doing that!
So who wants
Shut
to
the
do
fuck
this
up.
one?
It just makes no damn sense to me. The kid successfully robbed the guy days ago. No one saw him. No one even suspected him. But then he breaks into that place again.
Oh!
All so he could put back the stolen gold? Does this make any sense to you, Eris?
Oh no.
About your most of his actions, father.
Oh, of fucking
Oh,
course!
Not everyone can betray the people they love so easily.
Of fucking course the Eye Taker is Eris's father, Jesus!
I don't think he's human at that point.
Also, this fucking music.
And if that's true, I feel there's a sense of tragic beauty to it all. If he'd ever tried to do the right thing, he would have never encountered the construct in the first place. He would have paid his debt and would still have his life.
It's true what they say. No good deed goes unpunished. It's a shame about the gold, though.
I think we've made more than a profit today. I, for one, am happy to have claimed a boatload of tithes today.
A boatload, you say?
Ah! Oh my god, yeah, no, that is literal, isn't it? Oh, yep. Yep.
Oh no.
Yep, that is literal, isn't it?
Religious tithe.
Eris, no.
I stole your yacht, bitch.
Up until now, oh god, alright. Up until now, we've been following the story of Tyrion Cuthbert. We've experienced the world through his eyes. And
Oh,
fought, I don't like that that's capitalized. And fought for justice through his soul. But this time,
okay. Are we in
we start
Undertale for some
from the
reason?
perspective of another. Episode 4,
Severed
Severed
Ties.
Ties.
I got blueberry lemonade now.
Oh boy!
Oh, good, cause you're on.
We'll say.
Timora time!
I can't believe Cuthbert read the client's mind without asking. He's starting to become a problem, becoming more and more reckless with each passing year. I wish Frey was still alive. She would know what to do. She made it look so effortless, and he loved her. Would he have listened to her if she was still here?
Oh!
Is something the matter, Tamora?
No, I was
Hello,
just,
Winter Schnee.
God damn it.
I was just thinking about something.
Well,
My name is Ruby, after all.
The trial is about to begin. I don't doubt your abilities, but I'd still appreciate if you remained focused. All of our futures are at stake, after all.
Also, she kind of looks blind.
Mm-hmm. Of course, Miss Frege.
Comes with the problem of having silver eyes.
Occupation freelancer.
Beatrice takes in a deep breath before she claps her hands together.
No? Oh, wait, what's wrong?
Nothing. It's just the ritual that I used to call myself.
Age 46, arcane art nut. Wait, no, that's... I
That's
missed
you.
her. Sorry. Right, I'd almost forgotten about that. But more importantly...
Oh no!
Oh no!
Yeah.
I'm here to murder you.
My father sent me to guide Beatrice to the courthouse.
Of course he did.
It's a new environment for her, and we were both worried about her condition.
I still can't believe you were the boss's daughter this entire time.
Tamora, no.
Ruby, you were working for fucking the IT.
You're working for the
I
mob.
didn't say anything at the academy.
Oh? Knowing my true identity would have caused friction with your son, wouldn't it?
He's not my... Anyway, I suppose I understand why you stayed quiet. I still don't appreciate being kept in the dark about this.
Oh? Speak of the devil.
You spot Cuthbert and McCoy walking into the courtroom with the other members of the gallery. McCoy spots you and gives you a friendly yet awkward smile. However, Cuthbert ignores you entirely and walks silently into the courtroom.
Parental troubles? Oh, sorry. We had an argument earlier. It's nothing to worry about.
If you say so.
You are wary about what he saw in Beatrice's mind, though. He's always been a good kid, but his idealistic sense of justice clouds his judgment sometimes. You just hope that he's not planning to do anything reckless.
He is absolutely doing something reckless.
The trial's about to begin. Do you really have the time to be making small talk here?
Prosecutor Steelwind approaches the three of you, but she appears to be accompanied by someone else. Oh man, this is just the fucking cameo chapter, isn't it?
Nightgrave, is that you? What are you doing here? Well...
He's the company as my aide for this case.
Oh, damn it.
See, so I assume you'll be prosecuting?
Of course. I would never pass up the opportunity to face the infamous Ruby Tamora.
Really? If I recall correctly, you haven't even beaten Tyrion once so far.
Ooh.
Miss Steelwind, don't strain yourself.
What's that look for, Beatrice? You almost look surprised to see me here.
Page 23, illusion. There we go.
I wonder if she uses illusion to see.
Okay,
That would
I have
be fun.
we have Iris and Steelwind here. I have lost the right to take this character.
I can probably take her for the time being. Considering the circumstances, I thought you might recuse yourself.
I am more than capable of being objective. Especially for a case of this much importance.
Well, I hope your mind is as strong as you think it is.
Miss Steelwind, please calm down.
Oh, I love a good reunion.
What a fucking mess.
Man, I sure did call it the reunion chapter too, didn't I?
Don't worry, I'm a constant presence in this game. Because apparently there's no other judges in this game. At least what we know of.
Imagine if
they're
it's
all
meant to be a different judge each time, but they all look the same.
It's a
They're
nurse.
just the
Joy
nurse
please.
joys of this universe.
And they all sound like
It's
big
the Canadian
cat.
judge.
Court is now in session for the trial of Beatrice Frege. Miss Steelwind, is the prosecution ready? Miss Steelwind?
Oh, of course. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is also ready, Your Honor.
Something. No, that's Steelwind.
Something seems off about her today.
You are not Steel. Oh no, it is. Sorry, yeah, no, it is you. Yeah.
Is her personal attachment to this case distracting her?
Very well. Let's begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Steelwind, could you please list the charges?
Your Honor, the defendant is charged with first-degree murder and grand theft. As many of you know, Beatrice Frege is the formerly missing daughter of the now late William Frege. And the victim of the murder is William Frege himself.
Hmm.
Yes, I'm well aware of that.
Oh, there goes
Is that
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot leaving?
Yep.
Okay, yep. Weather's taking a turn for him, so
weather.
he has to head out. Okay. The people of Wyverngard will certainly mourn the loss of House Frege's head.
Please, the only people mourning him are the banking house's shareholders.
But anyways, did you also say that the defendant is accused of grand theft?
Yes, Your Honor. The crimes took place during the Lord's Ball, an event that was hosted in Frege Manor yesterday evening. The Haraldson Hall of History had a gallery display within the manor. They were showcasing several magical artifacts donated to the Wyverngard Historical Society. One of these items was the Sword of Spell Eating, a magical artifact that allows its wielder to nullify magical effects.
Yo. It's the fucking Susur sword.
But red!
Maybe this time it doesn't cause the hag to be immune to thunder damage when we're about to kill
God,
her.
I'm
before
still
she
upset
runs
about
away.
that. He would have died.
We, the prosecution, believe that the defendant stole this item.
I have no context for this, but that sounds hilarious.
Basically,
Rollbreaker.
Min used Booming Blade on the
on the hag, and then Coderge used a Susur sword, silenced her.
So when she ran away, she took no damage because she was immune to thunder damage. She
and
got
she was
away.
like 1 HP away from
Oh,
death.
that's so funny.
He then used it to nullify the magical lock on the victim's study. After breaking into the study, she attacked the victim and slashed his throat open using a letter opener. He died of blood loss shortly after.
Oof. This motherfucker. What I. Whoa. That is a
The
face.
nose. Look at the nose on this bitch.
Change
Yeah.
the horn?
Died at 3.
No, it's the I think they all have that kind of like feather aesthetic. All of the Fregas have that kind of
Ah, Rene.
thing
Okay.
on them in their hair.
His throat was slashed open. Both carotid arteries were severed, meaning that death must have followed mere seconds after the wound was inflicted. Body shows several scratch marks on the face and back. Traces of illusion magic were also found on the body.
I see. But what possible motive would the defendant have to murder her own father?
William Frege and his daughter were not close. Saying that they had a strained relationship would be an understatement.
Come on! We can't make these jokes more!
In fact, 5 years prior to the murder, Beatrice abandoned and fled her home. She went into hiding and did not contact any of her friends or family. Her whereabouts were unknown until she suddenly contacted her father a week ago.
We can't keep making... Like, they're just writing out the Schnee family just point for point at this point.
Except this is Winter, not Weiss.
Yeah.
For all we know, Weiss is totally buying this person.
My client left the Frege household because of a toxic relationship with her father. She wanted to create a life for herself that was free from his influence and abuse.
I won't disagree with your claims, but that just highlights how desperate the defendant must have been. She clearly fallen on hard times and begrudgingly contacted her father for financial aid. I can't possibly understand why they would schedule this meeting during the Lord's Ball. But nevertheless, several witnesses did see her that night. And these same witnesses saw her storming out of her father's study in anger. Her father must have refused her request for gold, so she decided to murder him to claim his inheritance.
Luckily, we prepared for this in advance.
Yes, they're playing right into our hands.
Beatrice Frege fled from her family 5 years ago and went into hiding. In retaliation, William Frege told Miriam Frege that he would remove Beatrice from his will. As a result, she wouldn't receive any inheritance after his death. As per your agreement, this testimony will be confirmed by Miriam Frege in court.
What you're saying is all conjecture, Steelwind. You don't have any evidence or testimony that confirms what they spoke about.
Yes, I am well aware that you and your client have refused to tell us what was discussed during that meeting. But as long as you both stay silent, my claims are plausible.
Be honest, Steelwind. Do you seriously think that my client committed these crimes in spite of her condition?
Condition? What do you mean by that, Miss Tamora?
Why don't you tell him, Steelwind? Tell the court about my client's disability.
Your Honor, Beatrice Frege is considered legally disabled. However...
Legally disabled? That's a convenient way of putting it, Steelwind.
Yet again, we are making. Oh my god.
My client isn't legally disabled. She's
Yep.
completely blind.
I mean, that's just character design.
Completely blind? Is this true?
You have several medical documents and testimony from several
I have no idea.
chirurgeon.
Cherugians? I don't know.
Surgeons. Let's just go with
Sure.
surgeons.
I think it's
Chirurgeons. Attesting to that fact,
okay. Yeah, it's just an archaic term for surgeon.
Gotcha.
my client is unable to see anything.
Beatrice is blind. Cool.
Judge.
What is the meaning of this, Miss Steelwind? Do you expect me to believe that a blind woman performed any of the acts you're accusing her of?
I'm so glad you see how ridiculous these claims are, Your Honor.
The court would just let me elaborate.
Steelwind, the prosecution's first charge is grand theft. My client would have needed to break into a magically secured display case. Performing such an act would be difficult for anyone, much less my client.
Is this how Tyrion feels?
And the second charge is first-degree murder. My client would have needed to use the sword of spell eating on the lock leading to the victim's study. Then, she would have needed to grab a letter opener, overpower the victim, and deliver a precise and fatal blow to the victim's neck. Does any of that sound like a reasonable theory, Your Honor?
I'm compelled to agree with you, Miss Tamora. It all sounds quite ludicrous, to be perfectly honest.
This is just awful. The humans are clearly just attacking the Fregas now that their head is deceased.
Enough! Your Honor, the court has not seen the evidence that supports this case.
Also, I think I saw Tyrion and Celeste up in the gallery. That was very cute.
Nor have you listened to the Inquisition's testimony regarding their investigation. Until you have done so, you are in no position to pass judgment.
Very well, Miss Steelwind. I suppose you have a point.
Guess the young lady has some claws after all. But it doesn't matter. The case against Beatrice is questionable at best.
I'm guessing the reason Tyrion didn't take this case is because he read her mind and realized that she might actually be guilty.
Mm-hmm. Frankly, it's surprising that Steelwind even went through with this. It's only a matter of time before the judge sees things all your way.
To begin, the prosecution would like to call Commander Orrin White to the stand.
Because that's helped so often.
Commander White, please testify to the court about the Inquisition's findings.
Right. We didn't want to cause panic after the sword was stolen, so we activated the manor's silent security system and put an anti-magic field over the entire manor. We did a search of the house, and we found the stolen sword in the defendant's bedroom. It didn't look like she was going to run, and Crown Prince Aster told us to stand down, so we just kept a close eye on her. William Frege was in a bad mood that night, so he had already locked himself inside his study. But an hour later, we entered the study and found him lying dead in a pool of blood. The lock was still engaged, and no one teleported in. Perp must have temporarily disabled the lock using the sort of spell eating. We have testimonies that say the defendant was seriously in debt. She must have murdered the victim to get a part of his inheritance.
Alright, well, that's obvious.
The case against Beatrice is just as you predicted. And you already have a countermeasure to disprove the existence of any motive. All you have to do is present that to the court.
Yep.
I get the feeling something is terribly wrong with this case.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Objection.
Your Honor, the prosecution's case against my client is riddled with holes. And the prosecution's proposed motive is the largest among them.
What do you mean, Miss Tamora? Of all the elements in this case, the motive is Most believable. Your client would have had much to gain through her father's inheritance.
That may be. That's assuming my client had anything to inherit at all.
What?
Your Honor, my client fled from her psychologically abusive father 5 years ago. How do you think he would have reacted to that? Lord Frege was a petty and vindictive man. Do you honestly think he'd leave his inheritance to someone who disobeyed him so egregiously? No. He'd do everything in his power to make sure she didn't see a shred of his wealth. Also, no, I don't see Tyrion or Celeste up there.
Yes, we're already well aware of this.
The moment she
The moment
slams.
she
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm too used to
Yeah, I
you
know.
over. The moment she slams her cane down, you notice the prosecutor winks a little, but she quickly hides it and regains her composure.
On the night of the murder, the victim made the decision to disinherit the defendant. However, his murder deprived him of the opportunity to submit his will to his attorney. This only further proves the defendant's motive. She would need to act quickly lest the father submit the changed will.
I'm afraid you're mistaken, Steelwind. William Frege didn't disinherit my client that night. He disinherited my client 5 years ago. I've witnessed testimony from Miriam Frege, William's youngest daughter. By her own admission, the father disinherited my client shortly after she fled the household.
What? Emma brought that up during questioning.
Perhaps she's not as amicable as you thought. If you don't believe me, why don't we call her to the stand and ask her ourselves?
What are you planning, Mr. Mora?
I've no idea what you're talking about.
Well, it's clear that we won't get anywhere until we hear from Miriam directly. Bailiff, please escort Miriam Frege to the stand.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh, a noble actually getting...
Oh my gosh, I actually get to say something!
Yep.
Miriam, is the defense correct? Did your father disinherit Beatrice 5 years ago?
Yes.
And you didn't think it was necessary to share this information with me?
Well, you never asked.
If I recall
Still-
correctly, you also were tight-lipped during questioning this morning. Are you staying quiet for your sister's sake?
The witness just lost her father. You can hardly expect her to recall every detail related to the case.
It raises a more concerning question. How did you extract this information?
My son is a mind reader. Who knows?
That explains so much.
Maybe I just have a way with people.
Regardless, I suppose you have a point. I'll give the witness the benefit of the doubt, for now. In any case, Miriam, please testify to the court about how you found out about Beatrice's disinheritance.
Yes, of course. One day, we all woke up and discovered that Beatrice had fled from our home. She left a note for us, and in it, she renounced her name and denounced my father. My father later called me and my sister into his study. He told us that he'd completely disowned Beatrice and removed any claim she had to the Frege estate. It was probably a threat to us in case we ever chose to go down the same path she did. He wanted to make an example out of her. This all happened 5 years ago.
Anybody else notice it?
And I'm sure this all happened 5 years ago.
That was 12 years ago. Lang Generous Z says, I'm sorry.
Yes, Even now, I remember everything clearly.
I see.
Her speech is getting slower. She deepened thought. Redgrave seems extremely concerned for some reason.
And Nypho were there with you at this meeting.
Yes, she was.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Ah,
However, Life couldn't have possibly been there.
Her words are getting more slurred. Notice her balance is slightly swaying. Hey, are you okay?
Of course, I.
Oh, there she goes!
What?
By the Scaled Lord, is that blood?
Blood?
Bailiff, find anyone capable of casting healing magic! Escort them to the courtroom immediately!
Nightgrave, you're right there.
Nightgrave?
After some scrambling, a couple of healers are able to help Nightgrave stabilize the prosecutor. In all the chaos, you caught a glimpse of her. There were deep wounds and blood in several parts of her body. She must have used some kind of illusion to hide them, but her disguise is completely dissipated now. Before Steelwind is taken out of the courtroom, you catch her whispering something into Nightgrave's ear. You see a look of confusion from him, but he nods and makes his way to the witness stand. But not before passing a message on to the bailiff, who seems equally confused. Just what the hell's going on?
Mr. Nightgrave, explain yourself. What is going on? Why is Miss Steelwind so gravely injured?
I'm sorry. I wasn't actually here as Miss Steelwind's aide. I was here as her healer. Her healer? The truth is, Miss Steelwind was violently attacked at noon today. She was in critical condition, but she insisted on prosecuting the case anyways. Out of her favor, she asked me to channel my necromancy to keep her wounds closed during the trial.
Scaled Lord, why didn't she just recuse herself?
Because
She
Avon
must-
Karma is perfect?
She must have known if anyone else tried to prosecute Beatrice, we would have handily won the trial. Nevertheless, she showed up to prosecute because no one else would. She did it all despite the risk to her life.
Tyrion's gonna be the one to step in as prosecutor, isn't he?
Almost makes you responsible.
That's pretty hilarious.
Almost. Anyway, is there any need to prolong this trial, Your Honor?
What?
Even you must acknowledge how weak the case against my client is. In addition to that, Miriam's testimony says that my client had nothing to gain from our father's death.
Miss Tamora, Miss Steelwind has been gravely injured. And you're still only concerned about...
The only thing I'm concerned about is seeking justice for my client.
Even so, we cannot move until we find another prosecutor.
How long do you think that will take, Your Honor? It's almost been 12 hours since the murder took place. That gives us, what, 36? After that, every magical trace of the crime scene will fully disappear. But there might be someone. If Steelwind had simply allowed another prosecutor work this case, we wouldn't be in this situation. She took a risk, and now she has to pay the price. You agree, Your Honor? You're not exactly proud of winning this way. This is what it takes to win. You won't let an opportunity like this pass you by. The judge is clearly unhappy with this turn of events. But it's out of his hands now.
Well, due to today's unprecedented events, I suppose I have no choice. There aren't any prosecutors available to immediately take Miss Steelwind's place. We will take a brief recess. After that, I'll deliver my verdict.
No the fuck you won't.
Yep.
Oh my gosh! Can we stop predicting things?
No.
Your Honor, I'm afraid you can't pass a verdict just yet.
Mr. Cuthbert!
Cuthbert? What the hell are you doing?
I don't know. But what I do know is that there was a massive contradiction in Miriam Frega's testimony.
But it looks like things aren't going to be as simple as you expected. I need to step away for just a second.
Like I said, did anyone else see it? Because I sure did!
God, this chapter is going to be a fucking mess, isn't it?
The night before... Oh, I feel so out of place being here. Despite your clear hatred for the nobility, you found yourself at a party filled with aristocrats. You hardly recognize anyone, but many of the people here clearly recognize you. You're used to receiving dirty looks from the upper class, but you can literally feel everyone's disdain for you.
Why are you in the corner by yourself?
I can't believe I let you talk me into coming here. Oh, this is the
Yo.
scene.
Oh, she looks so cute. Oh my word.
This is the scene. For reasons unknown, you lose your train of thought.
I've been wanting to wear this dress for a while now. What do you think?
12 out of 10, Celeste.
What's wrong?
You suddenly feel extremely flustered. It's difficult to make eye contact with her.
Oh, I see. Are you enchanted by my beauty?
No, I'm transmuted.
Come on, say something.
Ever
I
since
love
that
that.
night in RNX, you felt like something has been off between you two.
Am I interrupting something?
Miss Tamora!
I wanted to check in on you two before we went to meet with Lord Frega.
You spot a woman silently following behind her. Is this the client that Miss Tamora is representing? You're pretty sure this is your first time meeting her, but she still looks looks familiar to you for some reason. Hi, I'm Tyrion Cuthbert. I'm Miss Tamora's ward. You extend out your hand to shake hers. She's an aristocratic heir to her, so you hope you're not being too formal. Instead of taking your hand, she claps her hands together and takes a deep breath. Oh, what?
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's a bit of a habit of mine.
Oh. Nevertheless, she finally shakes your hand.
The clap lets her see
Yeah.
her environment.
Echolocation.
It's much about you, Mr. Cuthbert.
That is so
My
great.
name
I
is
love it.
Beatrice.
She's a bat! She's a bat! Beatrice!
You're not sure about the details, but your mentor appears to be brokering a deal between Beatrice and William Frega. William Frega is the ruling lord of House Frega, so you're a little curious as to what kind of deal he'd be involved in. But you've learned not to pry into your mentor's business.
Anyways, we'll probably be gone for a while. Can I trust you two not to cause trouble? We're in a manor filled with the highest members of the nobility. Might meet some familiar yet unfriendly faces.
We'll keep a low profile, Miss Tamora.
Please do.
So,
So,
why were you
oh, that's
so
you, yeah.
insistent on accompanying Miss Tamora to the Lord's Ball?
That's...
You know you can tell me anything, right?
I guess everything that happened in Ardax made me think about things. I don't really know anything about my past or where I come from. I didn't want to think about it because of my dad and mom, but
You wanted to find out who your biological parents are.
I do, but I don't know now. Being here, it's starting to make me feel weird. I still have my mom, and I'm looking for my birth parents feels wrong somehow.
I don't think that's true.
Really?
Miss Tamora adopted me when I was a child, and she gave me a purpose in life. But I still keep my childhood memories of my mother close to me. Miss Tamora and my mother were both important to me. I don't think it's disrespectful to find out more about yourself. I'm sure your mother will understand.
You think so?
Of course. And I'm also sure of another thing. If I'm with you, I doubt any of the nobles here will want to speak with you.
Yeah, I didn't want to be rude, but...
Don't worry, I can find something to fill the time.
You're just going to play chess alone, aren't you?
Maybe?
You really need to learn to talk to other people. Make some new friends or something.
Oh, I don't need more friends. I usually want to spend most of my time with you anyways. Oh.
I love
Anyways, I'm going to try talking to some people.
Yeah, I'll see you later. Celeste leaves to mingle with some of the other partygoers. You find yourself with very little to do, and you doubt anyone would want to engage in small talk from the likes of you. Your hand instinctively goes to your satchel. It contains your foldable chessboard. Well, it's not as if I have anything better to do. I should try to find an empty table to play on.
You little peasant upstart. I want a rematch.
No, I'm kidding.
Wander into the hallway. Yeah, this place looks pretty quiet, but there aren't any tables anywhere. Well, I could play on the floor. Oh! What the? While walking through the hallways, you suddenly find yourself face to face with a large wolf. Immediately upon seeing you, the wolf quickly gallops away. Did someone leave a door open? You think about telling someone, but remember that the manor is full of nobles. You're sure a servant will spot it eventually, and it's not as if anyone will believe you anyways. But it'd probably be best to find somewhere else to play.
I just want to bring up, I love the, that the frickin' wolf had a smile that could put the villain from Balto to shame.
How about?
I'm also curious if there is a polymorph in this universe.
Maybe.
You look around the manor and find a room with several displays. It looks like a gallery of some sort, but it's slightly out of place here. There are a few nobles in this room, and they're all silently appreciating the exhibits. Perhaps Lord Freyga paid a museum to create some historical displays for the Lord's Ball? Min for the time being, I guess.
I have no idea if this voice is going to be correct or not. Oh, there's a face I haven't seen before.
Huh?
Honestly?
Miss, I think? Looks like
Old
grandmother
man, it
vibes.
says.
Oh, take a
Oh, it says
closer
old man.
Look. Yeah. Take a closer look at one of the exhibits. An old man approaches you. Is that a monkey on his back?
Hello, my name is Harold Haroldson. I'm the curator of this collection.
Of course
Harold
they named
Haroldson.
someone.
Is that a pseudonym or something?
No,
Oh,
it is my name.
Don't wear
I
it out.
see. Wait, is it a museum curator? You must be extremely knowledgeable about Wyverngard's history. You wonder... Would you happen to know anything about the ancient dragons?
Ah, like the Scaled Lord, Rathalion.
Rathalos?
It always goes back to the Wraths. There are many pieces in this gallery, and some of them were items that were wielded by the 7 heroes of Wyverngard. That didn't say that some of these items were directly enchanted by Rathalion himself.
Also, I just realized, age.
And transmutation magic.
Age. I don't fucking what? Enchanted by Rathalion. Would that mean that they also don't follow the rules of magic? Perhaps you should examine these items more closely. First off, I was going to examine the paintings anyways. Painting of some kind of scientist.
That man is Dr. Luke Kupfer. He was an alchemist and inventor from one of the branch families. He is well known for his studies into imbuing intelligence into automatons.
Intelligent automatons. Would that make them similar to arcane constructs?
Yes, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if Lord Von Sanctus used Dr. Kupfer's research to create those constructs.
So in essence, Von Sanctus is taking credit for someone else's work.
Sounds about right.
The real Edisons of their time, I see. It's a painting of a researcher.
That is Professor Matt Furland, who is a professor of some renown. He was a researcher of combinatorial magic theory.
What's that?
Gesundheit.
It's the study of how different types of magic interact with each other. He famously ran an experiment on what would happen if two anti-magic fields overlapped each other.
And
That's actually pretty interesting. What were the results?
Well, they had mages enter the space where the two fields overlapped.
They disintegrated.
It turns out that those mages were able to use the magic in that space.
Wait.
Fucking XOR logic.
Yeah, pretty much. How would that
Yeah.
be possible? They would have had two anti-magic fields affecting them.
And when the two fields overlap, they cancel each other out. I've heard that it's akin to multiplying two negative numbers together.
Huh. It's a pair of metallic armbands. There are several magic runes carved into them.
Those are the armbands of intellect. They were actually created by a member of House Rega many centuries ago.
Centuries? That would make these armbands one of the first creations of artificery.
That's correct. Legends say that whoever wore those armbands would be granted unparalleled levels of intellect. Many believe that House Rega created these to aid them in their study of magic.
Creatures' intelligence, huh?
the monkey's gonna get it.
Not the thought I was going with, but sure. It's a pair of golden earrings. There are small jewels embedded into each of them.
Those are the earrings of vitality. It's said that the Scaled Lord imbued a portion of his immortality into these. Legends say that whoever wore them would have their lifespan increased tenfold.
The Scaled Lord could do things like that?
Of course! He is the Scaled Lord, after all.
Oh, they look a lot like my attorney badge. Are there any spells that can create a similar effect to these earrings?
Not that I know of. A spell like that would probably fall under the school of necromancy. The monkey is upset! The monkey is angry! And I'm sure that you know how much the kingdom scrutinizes that type of magic.
By the way, speaking of, did you know that I'm an attorney?
Sorry, I'm not really sure what to make of this.
Yeah, it's a very cute pose. Ah, it's Crimson Red's short sword.
That's a short sword?
Yeah?
That's the Sword of Spell Eating. Legends say that it has the power to protect its wielder from any kind of magic.
So it's like an anti-magic field.
In a way, yes, but it has less than heroic origins, I'm afraid. It's said that this sword was created through a blood pact between a mage and a demon.
A demon?
Legends say that some demons have the power to absorb and nullify magic. A demon must have imbued some of that power into this sword. Or at least that's what the legends say.
Huh. Is it safe to put something like this on display? What if the legends are true?
Don't worry, these displays are fortified with several abjuration spells.
What did you just say about a sword that nullifies magic?
I'd bet even Lord Steelwind would have trouble getting into this.
Anyways. So what is a historian doing at the Lord's Ball, Mr. Haroldson?
Harold.
Right. Harold.
Anyways, Lord Frege invites my museum to set up some displays here every year.
You want a museum?
Yes, it's the Heraldson Hall of History, located in the city of Holmhearth.
Homerith
That's
Haraldson's
Homer.
Hall of History.
a mouthful.
Unfortunately, I don't think his guests appreciate the historical significance of these items. Honestly, I think you're the only person in years who's taken a meaningful interest in them.
The small monkey. Tell me about the small monkey.
Yes, this is my familiar, Eugene.
You're familiar.
A familiar is a creature that a mage has formed a magical bond with. With that bond, our souls are forever connected. I can communicate with him telepathically. I could even cast my spells through him if I wanted to.
Really?
So,
I never knew. Yeah, I know. Don't worry. Don't worry, Pokemon. I'm on the same wavelength. I never knew a spell like that existed.
No, it's quite rare. Very few mages take the time to learn how to cast it.
Familial bond, divination, returum, indefinite, no concentration. The caster forms a magical, unbreakable bond with the target creature, connecting them to the caster's magic. While this bond exists, the caster can telepathically communicate to the target over any distance. The caster can also choose to see through the target's eyes as long as they concentrate.
Oh god fucking damn it.
Yep! Lastly, the caster can cast spells from the location of the target creature instead of their own location. Once this bond is formed, neither the caster nor the target can form bonds with any other creature. This bond can only be broken in depth. In death, excuse me. Yep.
Jean helps me with my day-to-day. These old bones aren't as spry as they used to be, after all.
necromancy can only do so much. Wait, what? What?
Harold.
Harold.
As a historian, do you have a lot of knowledge about the ancient dragons?
The answer to that question is somewhat complicated.
What do you mean?
Unfortunately, a lot of historical texts in my collection have been altered or even outright destroyed by the Church of Bahamut. Because of that, it's quite difficult to separate myths from actual historical accounts.
Right, I remember encountering a similar problem at the Imperial Academy.
Ah, you must be quite dedicated to your studies. They let this simpleton into the Imperial Academy.
Rude, but I suppose that can't be helped.
I had to fight the church for quite a long time before I could even display dragon bones in my museum.
In history of ancient dragons, was there any instance of them granting powers to humans?
Well, of course, that's the entire premise behind the 7 Heroes of Wyvengard.
Right, but was there anything before that? Did they ever grant supernatural abilities that didn't follow the rules of arcane magic?
Granting supernatural abilities, you say? That sounds more like something demonic in nature, rather than draconic.
Demonic?
Much like the ancient dragons, demons are the stuff of myths. There are many stories of people selling their souls to them for untold power.
Selling their souls? You recall the note that your mother left you before she was executed. Use my eyes. Peer beyond the divine gate as I once did. She told you to use her eyes. Did your mother make a deal with the demon to give you the Eye of Horus?
Is something wrong? Simpleton is far too superstitious.
No, nothing's wrong. It's a bit too much to take in, but you might just be overthinking this. There hasn't been any recorded sightings of demons in recent history. There are only secondhand stories and superstitions. The Eye of Horus can possibly be demonic. Can it? You hope Celeste's investigation is going better than yours. Speaking of,
How dare you insinuate that I engaged in an adulterous relationship?
Celeste.
I thought I was unmuted. What the fuck? That's not what I.
Enough! If you try to speak with me again, I'll have the King's Guard throw you out!
I don't know what this voice is.
I don't know if it worked.
This isn't working.
I don't think asking them like that will be very effective.
What?
Yo!
Oh, shit!
Yo, we got a fucking dress off here. Let's go.
Let's go!
On 3 now. Oh my god, she's hot.
Yup.
I was thinking it, I wasn't gonna say it.
Oh no, she's hot.
Did you expect anyone here to be truthful with you?
I love the hair clip. It's all so good.
You're essentially asking them if they cheated on their spouses.
Have you been spying on me?
Not intentionally. I was just surprised to see you here of all places.
Right, I guess that makes sense.
You're not party crashing, are you?
Of course not! I came here with Ruby and Tyrion!
That also raises more questions than answers, but I'll take your word for it. Anyways, you're looking for your birth parents, aren't you?
Was I being that obvious?
The only reason I could think of. Why else would we be trying to speak with members of the nobility? I don't know if it's any of my business. But think hard about whether this is what you truly want. Getting entangled in the aristocracy will only bring you misery. I've read your file. You have everything you could ever want. You have your mother and your friends. You even have a lover.
What?
You are in a relationship with Mr. Cuthbert, are you not?
No! Tyrion's not my...
Really? From the way you two behave around each other, I just assumed. It's pretty obvious you have feelings for him.
Oh, what? How obvious? I mean...
Did he seriously not notice? I think someone with his deductive reasoning skills would easily see through you.
Oh yeah? What about you and Asta?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Come on! I was there at Von Sanctus Manor. It's so obvious you like him.
Please. You're grossly exaggerating things.
Mm.
He may be my fiancé, but I have only had the utmost respect for him.
And what if I told you he was standing right behind you?
Do you honestly think I'd fall for something like that?
What are you talking for?
Your Highness!
Oh,
Hello, Lady Steelwind.
Your Highness, please don't run ahead like that.
That was amazing.
love this girl, love this girl.
Your conversation with Harold was
Please,
definitely...
I'm not going to fall for that. What are you not falling for?
Your conversation with Harold was definitely interesting, but you still find yourself with very few leads. Be it dragons or demons, the origins of the Eye of Horus remain a mystery. You find yourself returning to the ballroom, and you spot Celeste in the corner with some other people. Is she with Esther and Steelwind?
Hey, Asta, what do you think of Steelwind's dress?
It suits you very well, Miss Steelwind. You look lovely.
Gross.
As you approach the group, you're stopped by a knight from the King's Guard. He stares you down. What?
Reperio Arcana.
That was the incantation for detect magic. The knight stares you up and down. Celeste hasn't cast any spells on you lately, so he shouldn't be able to detect any traces of magic.
Oh, Mr. Cuthbert.
What was that all about?
My apologies. They were making sure you weren't disguising yourself with an illusion.
The Kingsguard are charged with keeping us safe. They must take every precaution to protect us.
Oh? And who might you be?
Do not speak so formally with me, peasant.
Alaric, don't speak to him like that.
Why shouldn't I speak to him as I please? I am Prince Alaric de Wyverngard the Fourth, or the Sixth even.
Yeah. 6th. Oh my word.
I will not demote myself by showing courtesies to a commoner.
Who taught a 7-year-old evocation magic?
Doesn't he mean demean?
I'm terribly sorry about him, Mr. Cuthbert.
It's fine.
Anyways, weren't
Nope,
you
that's
supposed
Tyrion.
to... Oh, that is you.
Yeah, anyways. Weren't you supposed to be investigating your birth parents? Leave the poor woman alone.
She started it!
Right.
I'm actually quite surprised to see you both here. What brings you to the Lord's Ball, Mr. Cuthbert?
We were just accompanying Miss Tamora. Her client has business with Lord Frege.
Her client?
Oh.
Oh.
Beatrice?
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
Beatrice suddenly storms through the ballroom. She almost walks right past you before she hears Aster's voice. She looks furious. Did her discussion with Lord Frege go badly?
Oh. That voice. Is that you, Aster?
It really is you.
She called him Aster instead of Your Highness. Do they personally know each other?
I'm glad to see you again. It's been quite some time.
Hmm.
That's really all you have to say.
It appears you two have much to talk about. I'll be taking my leave.
She's asked her
The
that.
politics! Yeah, I know, I caught that too. That's what I'm thinking as well, yeah.
They're also in the exact same facial pose.
It's a bit of tension in the air. Celeste, we should probably get going too.
Yeah. Wow. That was awkward.
Yeah, I wonder how those two know each other. She's working with Miss Tamora, but somehow knows Lord Frege and Crown Prince. Just who is she? Well, I suppose it's none of your business. Anyway, how did your investigation go?
I got nothing. I think all I did was make a bunch of nobles mad.
Sorry, I know you really wanted answers, but I'm sure something will come up.
You think so?
Might be a little irresponsible to give her hopes like this. A noble abandoned her at the tavern in a rundown village. You doubt someone like that would make themselves easy to find? Anyway.
Anyways, I don't want the night to be a total loss.
There it is.
Come on, dance with me.
What? That's not really something I...
Don't be like that. How often do we get to go to a party like this?
Before you have a chance to object, she grabs your hand and starts dragging you to the middle of the room. You receive a few dirty looks from the aristocrats nearby. Celeste, people are staring at us!
Who cares what they think? They're nobles. They're going to hate us no matter what we do.
She takes a hold of your other hand and begins to pull you into a waltz. I
Oh my
don't
God.
even know how to dance. I've never done this before.
Picture.
It's easy. Just stop being so awkward about it.
It's easy for her to say. Alright, just tell me what I need to do.
Well, first, you need to be closer to me.
With one swift motion, she pulls your body closer to hers.
Watch my movements and try to follow my lead.
You seem to know a lot about these things.
My eyes are up here.
I had to do a lot of networking when I was a mercenary. Do you know how many times I had to charm a merchant into hiring me?
I see. You don't really know much about her, do you? You carefully watch the position of her feet and try to match her movements. After a while, you find yourself able to match her rhythm, but you still accidentally step on her foot every few beats. She doesn't seem fazed by it. Either she's being polite or she genuinely doesn't feel anything.
You're getting it, but don't focus so much on where your feet are. Just look at me.
What?
Come on, do it.
You try to break eye contact with her, but every time you do, you slowly find yourself being drawn back into her eyes. You feel so embarrassed that you're becoming lightheaded, and you find yourself perspiring more than usual. At the same time, you don't have any urge to break away from her. There's a comforting warmth behind all the anxiety you're feeling.
There he is, the infamous Tyrion Cuthbert. Never turns away from challenging a noble, but can't dance a step to save his life.
Her expression doesn't betray a hint of it, but you're still detecting feelings of nervousness from her. Is she just as flustered as you are? There it is. You find yourself relaxing a bit more, and you're somehow able to continue matching her movements.
See? There you go. Although,
What is it?
you know the man is supposed to lead, right?
Maybe I don't ascribe to gender stereotypes.
Or maybe you suck at this.
It's been a while since you felt this calm. There's always been something that you needed to prepare for. A client that needed saving, a culprit that needed catching. But you're quite content with this one brief moment you're able to spend with her. You almost find yourself getting lost in the mood, until you spot a familiar face accompanied by a legion of knights. No, don't tell me. The knights storm their way toward where Beatrice and Aster are. Several of the attendees take notice. They all stop what they're doing to see what's going on.
Beatrice Frega, by the authority of the Wyvern Guard Crown, you're under arrest.
Did he just say Beatrice Frega?
Damn it.
Damn it, it was just getting good. We should go and see what's happening, shouldn't we?
Yeah, let's go.
You are completely out of line, Commander. I
Still
thought
you.
I told you to stand down.
Do you not recognize who you're speaking to? Let go of Lady Frega!
I can't really do that, Your Highness.
Master, what's going on?
It's Lord Frega. He's been found murdered in his study. And these cretins think that Beatrice is behind it somehow.
Sorry, Your Highness, but my orders came straight from Steelwind.
Lady Steelwind sent you?
Beatrice takes in a deep breath and claps her hands together.
I go with them.
What? No!
My brother is right. They have no right to...
I don't want to cause a friction between you and Arya. She's always been meticulous. I'm sure she's just being careful. I'm sure I'll be exonerated once they've thoroughly investigated what happened.
Okay. Only if that's what you want.
What? You can't just let them take her away?
Brother, she's right. It's not our place to interfere with the laws of our kingdom.
But...
However,
Yes, Your Highness.
Miss Beatrice is blind. One of your knights will need to escort her.
She's what?
Did he just say she's blind? She's blind!
Anyways, we're going to need to take you to a holding cell, lady. One of you should stay with her and guide her through.
Please. I may be disabled, but I'm not a child.
Beatrice walks past the knights and heads towards the foyer. It appears that she already knows the way out. Shouldn't you all be following her?
Right, Inquisition, move out.
You definitely didn't expect the night to go like this. Just what is going on here?
So that's the connection they were meaning that Steelwind has.
Mm-hmm.
That her betrothed used to be dating the defendant. So she might have conflicting motives on getting her.
Yeah.
That
I can't believe they kept us here until noon. The Lord's Ball was already running well into the night, even before the murder occurred. You'd like nothing more than to catch up on your lost sleep, but you made a promise to Aster.
this doesn't make any sense. Beatrice was with me and my brother the entire night.
Right, you were there when she met with him in Steelwind.
She couldn't have stolen the sword of spell eating and murdered her father.
I don't understand. Of all the people that could have done this, why would Steelwind suspect a blind woman?
Mr. Cuthbert, could you defend Beatrice against these awful charges?
I don't think I even need to.
What?
Beatrice is Ruby's client. I'm sure that she'll be the one defending her.
Well, that certainly puts my mind at ease.
What's wrong?
No, it doesn't. I don't know if I'm asking too much. Could you still investigate the crime scene for me, Mr. Cuthbert?
What? But we just said that Miss Tomorrow will...
I know, and I don't doubt her abilities. But Beatrice is a dear friend of mine. I'd like every chance for her to be found innocent.
Oh boy, we're gonna piss off Aster.
Okay.
Uh-oh. He said that she was a dear friend. They must know each other since she's Freyga. But why would Miss Tomorrow, of all people, represent a member of Noble House? There are still a lot of things you don't know about her.
Of course, I'll compensate you for your services.
Consider yourself blessed. A commoner like you could only dream of a job like this.
Alaric?
The tiny prince has a point, though. A payment from the crown prince does sound tempting. Well, you don't need to twist my arm.
I can't believe this.
Celeste returns to the ballroom. She's changed back into her normal clothes. What's wrong?
The people in the coat room said they couldn't find my sword.
They what?
You mean your sword that's also, like, bright,
Yeah.
firecracker red?
Oh. You told me that someone must have stolen it.
What? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would someone want to steal Celeste's sword? Aside from your group, everyone else at the ball is an aristocrat. You do recall her saying that it was forged in the Eastern Kingdoms. Someone might have stolen it because of its rarity. We can probably keep an eye out for it while we investigate the manor. This all might just be some kind of mistake.
I hope so. But anyways, where should we start first?
We should head to the crime scene.
I remember hearing that they found Lord Frigga's body in his study. Let's go over there.
I don't know, guys. Where do you think he died?
You arrive at the crime scene and see the usual swarm of Inquisition knights. However, you also spot some members of the Kingsguard. They must be working together since the victim is from one of the Pillar families.
That's a lie? I wasn't expecting to see you here, Mr. Cuthbert. I thought Ruby Tamor was defending this case.
Prosecutor Steelwind approaches you as you enter the study, and she's followed by an unexpected yet familiar face.
Wallace, what are you doing here?
He is here as my aide for the investigation.
You don't doubt Wallace's abilities, but you can't think of any reason why Steelwind would need his help. But you suppose it's none of your business. Anyway, we're here on behalf of Crown Prince Aster. He hired us to investigate the case independently.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to
See.
Okay.
later, y'all.
Later.
Bye.
Also, I just realized something.
Mhm.
Yes.
They said they kept us here until noon.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't Arya also attacked at noon?
Yep.
Hmm.
I'm sure he just wants to make sure the investigation goes smoothly.
Well, if you're here on behalf of His Highness, I'll do whatever I can to help you.
The whole situation is quite unorthodox, but your goal remains the same. Perhaps Steelwind can tell you more about what happened. I think we'll probably go through this little section and then we'll probably call it. What can you tell me about the murder?
William Frege was found dead in his room after lockdown was lifted.
Wait, lockdown? What lockdown?
From what we can tell, his throat had been slashed open with a letter opener.
Cause of death was blood loss. Both of his carotid arteries were severed.
Here's the autopsy report if you want a detailed description.
Were you able to find the murder weapon?
Yes. The murderer left it at the crime scene. It was a letter opener owned by the victim.
The murderer must have found it in the room and used it.
There was one strange detail about the weapon. The handle was completely shattered. I'm not sure what to make of that detail, but it's as if something crushed the handle using tremendous force.
Oh. Interesting. What could have caused the handle to shatter like that? You mentioned there was a lockdown. When did this happen?
You didn't notice? The Inquisition did try to be discreet, but everyone noticed the commotion Beatrice and the two princes made over it. I suppose you two must have been lost in your own little world, weren't you?
Oh.
That was my dance.
Well, anyway, you said that Lord Frege's body was found after the lockdown. That means something else must have happened prior.
Supposedly, someone had broken into one of the Heraldson exhibits. One of the magical artifacts was stolen.
So there was also a theft last night. Does the Manor's lockdown system behave like the one at the Imperial Academy?
The system is somewhat different. Unlike the Imperial Academy, the lockdown only prevents people from leaving or entering the manor.
So not all of the rooms were locked. But what about this specific room?
This room does have abjuration walls that lock the door and prevent teleportation in and out of it. And in addition to that, the system placed an anti-magic field over the manor.
An anti-magic field?
What is that?
Anti-magic field is a spell that nullifies all magic within it.
So if somebody...
Tyrion.
Yeah.
Tyrion, you had a whole discussion with Harold about this.
Yep. If somebody knows how to cast anti-magic field, then they can basically cast magic freely within this, within the area. And the system somehow covered the entire manor with the effect? I think we actually have that in our fucking evidence. It's, oh, did we not? Oh, maybe we don't. I don't think we actually got the painting in evidence.
If you notice, there are several purple crystals embedded in the walls of the manor. Each of those crystals produced an anti-magic field during the lockdown.
So no one could cast magic during the entirety of the lockdown?
Not exactly. Someone could have used a stolen artifact to circumvent it.
You mentioned that someone could have used the stolen artifact. Which artifact?
It was the Sword of Spell Eating.
Ah, if legends are true, then someone could have used it to counteract the lockdown system.
After Lord Harrelson reported the theft, the Inquisition discreetly placed the manor on lockdown. They searched every room in the manor to try to find it, but it was eventually found in Beatrice's bedroom.
And that led them to believe that she had stolen it.
That's correct. The King's Guard moved to arrest her, but Prince Astor ordered them to step down. It didn't look like she was planning on fleeing, so they planned to wait until after the party had ended.
But then they found Lord Frega's body.
Correct. We believe that she used the stolen sword to nullify the magical locks and break into Lord Frega's study.
But if she had the sword, why would she use that to commit the murder?
We're not entirely sure. We have a few working theories. She might have wanted to prevent the theft from being tied to the murder. Or perhaps she had more confidence wielding a knife over a sword. Regardless of her reasons, it's clear that the sword wasn't the murder weapon.
So she's not just being implicated with Lord Frega's murder, she's also being charged with stealing the Sword of Spell Eating. But what possible reason could she have to do either of those crimes? Since the body was found here, was Lord Frega locked in this room during the lockdown?
Yes. William Frega knew that this room should have been secured. He was supposedly in a bad mood, and had locked himself in this room for most of the night. He refused to let anyone into the room. The only person he spoke to after that was his daughter.
His daughter? Are you talking about Miriam?
No. Lord Frega had another daughter. I'm referring to Leif Frega, Lord Frega's little child. She tried to tell her father about the theft, but he was apparently preoccupied with something else. He said that he wanted to stay in his study for the rest of the night.
When did this happen?
Shortly before the lockdown was activated. A little after 1 a.m.
I see. After his meeting with William, retreated to his study. The only person he spoke to was Leif. Told him about the theft of the sword. A little after 1, William did seem to care and returned to his business. Leif must have been the last person to see Lord Frega alive then. You should speak with her and get more details about Lord Frega's actions that night. By the way, Steelwind, do you have a map of the manor?
I do. Would you like a copy?
Please and thank you. There's the ballroom, foyer, storage. There's the study, so that's where he was found. Coach room, sitting room, kitchen, pantry, bathroom. Beatrice's bath and bed, William's bed, Leif's bed, Miriam's bed, and then a gallery.
Oh god, we're gonna be thinking about 3D spaces.
Maybe? It's possible. So this is the ballroom as well. This is the top of it. So that means his study was directly under the bathroom. And Beatrice's room is right here. Gotcha. No. Witness. Were there any other witnesses aside from Leif who saw Lord Frega that night? Perhaps someone heard what happened from a nearby room?
There was someone who heard the altercation, but it was quite obscured. Stefan was trapped in a storage room nearby. There's an air vent that connects this room with that storage room. He supposedly heard sounds of a struggle through that vent.
What did this witness hear?
There were sounds of a struggle before he heard Lord Frega choking on his own blood. When the lockdown was lifted, he informed the King's Guard of what he heard. That's when they discovered the body.
I see. Who was the servant?
I believe you actually know him. His name is Jan Hughes.
Wait, Mr. Hughes is here?
Of course he is. Never expected to see him again, much less here of all places. But if he heard the altercation, you'll definitely want to speak with him. Man, this really is just the reunion chapter. I think I'm lacking a lot of information about the dependent. From the way you were both acting, you and Astor seem to know her.
Your mentor didn't tell you about her?
No, I try not to pry into her business.
I see. I honestly don't know much about what happened either. But Beatrice was Lord Frega's eldest daughter and the former heir to Frega.
Former heir.
About 5 years ago, she fled Frega Manor and went to hiding. None of us knew where she'd gone. She ignored any attempts for me to contact her. She even used her magic to prevent us from scrying her. Last night's ball was the first time in years that Astor and I had seen her.
But if that's true, how did Miss Tamora meet her? Would you happen to know why Beatrice was meeting with her father after all these years?
We have some ideas, but nothing concrete. I was hoping you could tell me. Tamora and Beatrice have both refused to disclose anything about the meeting.
Damn it. What could that meeting have been about?
Speaking of which, I haven't seen Tamora anywhere in the manor. As the defense attorney, I thought that you'd be here to investigate the murder alongside you.
That is strange. But Miss Tamora's always had her own way of doing things. Perhaps she's using a different strategy.
Anyways, I imagine that she met with her father to request financial aid.
Why do you say that?
I have it on good authority that she was deeply in debt. That's the only reason why she would speak with her father after all these years. It's also why I believe she murdered her father.
Do you think she murdered him for his inheritance?
The only motive that makes sense.
Alright, there's a lot to work through here. The prosecution will try to assert that Beatrice has committed the murder. But what would she have needed to carry out all the actions described? So the first thing we need to do is narrow down the time in which the murder occurred. Between 1 and 3, right? Celeste, are you here?
Sorry. The body was discovered after the lockdown was lifted.
And Life Frega saw her father alive before it was activated. He entered his study and she watched as the lock was engaged. The murder occurred after the lockdown, I think? What? William Frega was alive before, yeah. During the lockdown? Oh, it's during the lockdown.
During the lockdown?
There we go, okay. Right, the murder must have occurred during the lockdown.
But that means that the murderer somehow got past the abjuration boards that protect this room.
Those wards block teleportation, and they magically locked the only door leading into this room. Steelwind and the Inquisition believe that Beatrice used the Sword of Spell-Eating to get past them. Regardless of what they think, we need to assume that the murderer used some kind of magic nullification to get into William's study.
But that's not necessarily true, is it? What if the murderer entered the room before William locked it?
If they were in the room when William locked it, they would have been trapped here until he decided to leave. Not only that, they would have been discovered the moment the guards entered his study.
Maybe they used some kind of invisibility? Or they could have teleported away the moment the Kingsguard unlocked the door.
Teleportation didn't occur. A cure? We didn't find any traces of conjuration magic.
What about Celeste's theory of an invisible assailant?
I'll admit that we did find traces of illusion magic. But the moment the gods saw the body, one of them cast Detect Magic. With that spell, they would have seen any invisible people hiding in the room.
Wait, you can use Detect Magic like that?
Of course. It's a standard procedure. Like all spells, invisibility leaves traces of magic on the person it's cast on. So mages can use Detect Magic as a way to see through invisibility.
So we know for sure they weren't here before or after the lockdown. Which means that whoever committed the murder used some way to bypass the abjurative wards that protect this room. The next thing to consider is the murder weapon. It was a letter opener that was presumably owned by William Frega. The murderer probably used it to avoid leaving evidence that incriminated them.
Lord Frega destroyed the murder in Frega's study.
It's yeah. Right. The letter opener came from this room. The murderer probably wanted to avoid using a weapon that would have implicated them, so they decided to use it and leave it here after the deed was done. But that leaves a glaring hole in the prosecution's case.
And what would that be, Mr. Cuthbert?
William Frege is completely blind. Not Beatrice. Beatrice Frege is completely blind. Even if she were somehow able to break into a highly guarded exhibit, how did she slip past the guards and enter Lord Frege's study? Furthermore, how did she locate the letter opener if she couldn't see in the first place? None of it makes any sense. Committing this murder unseen would have been a tall order for anyone. I can hardly believe a blind person did all this.
You'd do well not to underestimate her, Mr. Cuthbert.
What?
You don't know her as I do. She's far more capable than you realize.
I suppose I wouldn't know, but the idea that Beatrice did any of this is still ludicrous.
I suppose I can't change your mind about that. But I have to ask you a question, Mr. Cuthbert. What would you do if you discovered that one of your clients was guilty?
What? I mean, I tend to have an insight into these sort of things. That would never happen.
I've already seen your uncanny ability to read people, but I'm only hypothetically speaking. So, what would you do if they were guilty?
I suppose I'd withdraw and tell them to find another lawyer.
And if no one else would represent them?
I don't know. It would definitely be a hard choice for me. But I would never be able to represent them if I knew the truth. I just can't stand by and let a murderer escape justice.
I see.
Why do you ask?
No reason.
Okay. Anyway, she's made her stance clear. You still have a lot of leads to follow up on. You should move somewhere else.
Oh my god, it's it's fucking justice for all.
Hi, Celeste.
Ah!
What's wrong?
You can't see it, but the entire room is covered in traces of abjuration magic. Everything is glowing white.
Alright, that makes sense. There were several anti-magic fields covering the manor. Those fields probably left traces of abjuration everywhere.
I won't bother showing you the traces of abjuration I find while we're here.
Just filled with fucking snow blindness. Pool of blood and a chalk outline. Cool.
Repario Arcanum.
Traces of illusion.
Okay.
Picture. It's a painting of some sort of scholar. There's some text on it. Rook Reisignar, economic scholar and aristocratic accountant. He was known in some circles as Rook the Cook due to his ability to cook the books of the Four Pillars houses.
Rook the Cook. Sometimes I wish I could have a nickname like that.
What about the Crimson Demon?
Not that one.
It's a bookshelf. It's a bookshelf filled with books.
I wonder what kind of books Lord Frege owned. Wait a minute, they're all blank!
All of his real books are on the floor of his desk. Several books about economics and politics. Doesn't look like there's anything of note. Window leads to this room. Could the murderer have escaped through here?
No, the window doesn't open and the glass is magically reinforced.
Good to know. Large mahogany table at the end of the room. Lord Frege must have done his work here. Alright, seems like we've got pretty much... chimney. Nope.
That wouldn't be possible. Even a small child would consider not to fit through it.
Alright, well, that's pretty much everything. So, I think we're just going to the next
Guys.
one.
What if Santa Claus is the murderer?
What a fucking bedroom.
Ho ho ho! You've been very naughty,
Alright.
Lord Frega.
So, we're just gonna go ahead and, by the way, I get the feeling this is human, but we'll get to that later. So for now, thank you all so very much for stopping by. Take care of yourselves, and we'll catch you in the next stream.